So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the first part of the story, What If Naruto Was an Uchiha? If you guys enjoy this what if and want more, comment down below to let me know. The comments on videos really help me out a lot. They motivate me to upload more frequently, so please do comment down below. Before I start, please do support for more awesome contents and leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And share this video with your friends and also check out the descriptions and check out the playlists. With that out of the way, let's start. November 14 is a special day for one Naruto Uchiha. She was a beauty only matched by a few in the Uchiha clan. Her purple hair reached to her waist and flowed like a calm breeze. She possessed the normal pale skin of the Uchiha clan, a pitch black eye that shined with a hidden beauty. She only possessed one eye due to going blind in her other eye from freeing her husband using Izanami. "Come on honey. It's almost over," a male voice said from her side. This was Naka Uchiha, the husband of Naruto Uchiha. He possessed grey chin-length hair and was wearing the typical attire of the Uchiha with a high-collar blue robe. He was wearing dark grey pants and black ninja sandals. "I am trying," Naruto gritted out. She was currently giving birth to their son. She had done many things and many other impossible things, even like fighting a biju, but giving birth. This was something new and painful. "I see ahead, you're almost there," Uchiha doctor said. "Okay honey, last go and we can hold our child," Naka said, giving his wife's hand a squeeze. He looked at her and smiled, a small part of him still couldn't believe that he had married this woman after all the pain he put her through. Naruto smiled back and nodded in determination. She was ready. "Okay." The woman then began to push until she was able to see her beautiful baby. Naruto began to see a small tuft of black hair and doubled her efforts. The doctor grabbed and held him. He quickly went over to the female nurse for help. She cut the umbilical cord and they grabbed a towel and wiped the baby off. They looked at the baby who was not crying and simply just laying in the doctor's arms. The male doctor, seeing something may be wrong with the baby, gently slapped its chest. He was not expecting for the baby to swing his small hands and slap him in the face. "That's my son." Naka grabbed his son from the shocked doctor and brought him over to his wife so she could hold him. "Hey sweet thing." Naruto cuddled her son who seemed to snuggle into her. The baby then opened his eyes to his parents, showing them he had eyes black as the night with dark black hair that had a hint of purple in it from Naruto and seemed to have the face of his father Naka. "Oh he's so handsome." Naruto rubbed her face on Naruto's, making him let out a small gurgle that sounded like a laugh. "He looks like me but with your hair. I can see it now, he will be a lady killer when he gets older," Naka said and poked the baby. Naruto sent a slight glare at Naka. "My son will be a proper gentleman. I won't let these girls get my son." "You mean our son, Naruto?" Naka said and brought them all into a hug. Naruto blushed while smiling. "Yes, our little maelstrom. I hope he will make things better around here." The beautiful family moment was interrupted when they heard Naruto's stomach grumble. "Guess he's hungry." A knock came from the door. Naka went over and opened it, seeing none other than the clan leader and his family. They were close friends. "Hello Fugaku and Makoto," Naka said with a small smile on his face. This was one of his closest friends, but the relationship had been falling apart ever since the Nine Tails attack. They started to see things differently and even had small arguments from now and then. "Hello, Naka-sama." A small boy holding a bundle in his arms said. This was Itachi, who was holding his younger sister Satsuki Uchiha. "Sup little man, I've heard a lot about you." Naka spoke to the young rising star Itachi. "Yes, he is very talented and will do great things for the clan," Fugaku said and patted Itachi on the shoulder. Naka noticed a small and almost unnoticeable frown on Itachi's face. "Is Naruto okay?" "The doctors left so we guessed everything was good," Makoto asked with barely contained excitement. "Yes, everything worked out just fine," Naka said with his own smile and let the family in, more like Makoto let herself in. "Hey Makoto," Naruto said with a smile. Naruto had finally let up and let out a big burp, making the two women laugh. "Oh he's so cute, can I hold him?" Makoto asked. Naruto laughed at the all-powerful Makoto acting like a little girl in front of her son. Makoto held Naruto in her arms and rocked him back and forth while making baby noises at him. Naruto opened his eyes and gazed at Makoto as if he was searching her soul. He closed his eyes and allowed Makoto to keep holding him. Over to the other side of the room, Fugaku and Naka were talking. "Things aren't looking well for us, we are being blamed for the Nine Tails attack. They said there was a sharingan in its eye," Fugaku said with a blank face. Naka only slightly widened his eyes. He also had a blank face, giving nothing away, much like his friend. "That's complete bullshit, the only ones who could put the Nine Tails under a genjutsu would be me. And I would never do something so stupid when I'm about to start a family." "I know Naka, but the village council keeps bringing you up and pushing us further out of the village." We can't even walk in the village without people talking behind our backs or pointing fingers. Fugaku clenched his fist at the disrespect to his clan. After everything they did for the village, this is how they treat us. Naka placed a hand on his shoulder. Keep calm, now is not the time for us to blow a casket. We will simply think of another way to solve this and gain our respect back in the village. Fugaku sent a nod of appreciation to Naka. I didn't come here to brainstorm ways to earn our respect back. We have come to congratulate you on becoming a father. The clan head brought Naka into a manly hug of respect. Thank you, Fugaku. Naka said with gratitude, returning the hug to his old friend. Itachi tried his best to listen to the conversation, but they were quiet, and if he tried any harder to listen into the conversion, he would possibly be compromised and punished by his father. Itachi-kun, come look at the baby. His mother called and he went over to see the baby of his friend's mother. Itachi walked over to see his mother holding young Naruto, who looked comfortable. Naruto looked at Itachi with his black eyes and seemed to squirm away from him as if he didn't want to be close to the young Uchiha. Makoto, seeing this, only giggled into her free hand. It seems that he doesn't like you, Itachi-kun. Naka came and took his son. Don't worry, Itachi, he doesn't know better right now. Maybe when he gets older he'll play with you. Itachi only nodded at what Naka said and went to stand by his father's side. Naruto then extended his arms to his mother Naori. Naka, seeing this, gave him to her and watched a happy smile come across Naruto's face. The baby then began to play with Naori's purple hair. He ran his chubby little fingers in her hair and pulled it a little. Upon doing this, he noticed the wide eye on the left side of his mother's face. Being a baby, he seemed to not pay attention to it, although his father saw Naruto looking and frowned. It was his biggest regret in life, if only he had seen reality sooner and not chased after a false dream. Makoto, seeing that they spent enough time here, decided it was time to leave. Okay, let's allow the new family to rest. Fugaku and Itachi rose from their seats and walked over to the door. They didn't want to listen to their wife mother make any more baby sounds. The other family gave them one more goodbye before leaving. Enjoy it while you have it, Naka, things will only get worse from here on. These were the final thoughts of Fugaku, the clan head of the Uchiha. He hoped that his clan could make it through this time of struggle. 6 years later. Naruto Uchiha stood outside covered in sweat. This was not new to him though, he would come outside and train for most of the day with his father or mother. Today was physical conditioning and he had just got done with a 3K run and 300 push-ups, sit-ups and squats. Normally a young boy wouldn't be able to do this, but since he used chakra in order to enhance his body, he was able to push a little further. His father, Naka Uchiha, had told him it was important to have a strong body in order to excel in the ninja world. It was the base of all ninja foundations. Whether it be ninjutsu, taijutsu, or jinjutsu. If your body wasn't strong enough, you would not be able to succeed. So he practiced his hand-to-hand religiously. There wasn't a single kid his age in the clan that could best him in hand-to-hand. 298, 299, and 300. Naruto finished with a strong right hand to the poor training post that looked as if it had just been jumped, but all the damage was done by one person, a boy. Naruto pulled up his shirt to wipe his sweaty face. Naruto looked at the damaged post and smirked. Thanks for hanging in there, Woody. Naruto said, looking at the post in front of him. He had just thought of that name. Naruto. The mentioned boy turned his head to see his father looking at him from the porch of the backyard. Naruto was in a training field they owned in the back of their compound. In the clan they were damn near royalty. Your mom wants you. Naruto nodded and drank some water before running off to his father. How was your day today, Dad? Naruto looked at his father with an almost searching look. He was smart for his age and even was called a genius. The young midnight-haired boy was not ignorant to the way his clan was looked at in the village. He knew his father would have meetings with the clan head and village leader who often visited the compound. Naka simply smirked and put his arm around his younger son and walked into the house. Nothing for you to worry about, short stack. Naruto's eyebrow twitched just a little, but his father saw it. The young child tried to stay calm in situations like this in order to not give gas to his father's fire of teasing him. I simply talked to Fugaku and the Hokage about some future dealings. Naka's grip on Naruto's shoulder tightened just the slightest. They walked to the living room where his mother was. He saw her talking to a young boy who had messy black hair and a playful look on his face. In his lap was a girl about his age who looked just like the older boy, except for a more feminine look to her short black hair. This was Shisui Uchiha and Mira Uchiha. 2 siblings and friends of Naruto. Mira saw him first. Naruto-kun. The girl jumped off her brother's lap and ran to Naruto and wrapped him in a big hug, ignoring the fact he was wet and sweaty. Naruto had a small discomfort on his face and patted her on the back and pushed her off, making the girl pout. I wanted a hug, not a back rub, Naruto-kun. I don't know what you are talking about, that was a hug. Naruto said with crossed arms. Mira seeing this opened her arms again and walked closer to Naruto, making the boy take a step back. She pounced on him and brought him into another hug. If only I wasn't so tired, I could have gotten away. Naruto sighed in his head. He would give the girl what she wanted. The young Naruto wrapped his arms around the girl, making Mira smile in joy. Mira pulled away and smiled. See, that wasn't so hard now, was it? It was incredibly hard. Naruto said sarcastically. This caused him to duck a smack to the head. He smirked. You remember I beat you last time in our spar, sure you want to go at it again? Mira would have said more if it wasn't for someone appearing behind Naruto and giving him a nuggie. You bullying my sister, little man. Shusui messed up Naruto's purple-tinted hair. The boy freed himself and fixed his short spiky hair. He fixed his high-collar black Uchiha shirt and patted down his grey loose pants. Naruto walked over to his mom and sat next to her. You didn't invite him over, did you? Naruto pointed at Shusui. Naori brought the young boy into her lap and brought him into her chest. This made Naruto blush from embarrassment and caused Shusui to laugh at him. Mom, knock it off. He tried to wiggle out of her grasp, but he couldn't, she was still too strong for him. Although his mother was retired from the ninja life, she still trained just like she wasn't. Naori would often spar with her husband like they used to. What are you talking about? Naori said in a false oblivious tone. This caused Mira to giggle at Naruto. Her son looked up at her with his one-tomo sharingan in both eyes. He had received this when he was training one day, and a little too intense training along with anger later, he awakened the famous eyes of the clan. Naruto looked at his mother, who had her long wavy purple hair covering half of her face, only showing her one good eye. Although she had one good eye, he could never catch her from the blind spot. You're embarrassing me. Naruto said and looked for his dad, who was chuckling silently. Naruto sent the man a glare, but it didn't do anything with his red cheeks and only caused Naka to burst out in laughter. Okay honey, I think you've shamed our son long enough. Naori allowed Naruto to get up. He huffed and walked outside the house, leaving his mother to chuckle along with Shusui and Naka. Mira followed Naruto outside the house. Naori stopped and only looked at the back of her son with loving eyes. His Uchiha crest showed proudly in the bright rays of the sun. He would go on to do great things, that she was sure of. She would be there to support him in any way he needed. Naruto was making his way through the Uchiha district. Alongside him was Mira. You don't have to come with me, you know. Naruto turned his head to look at Mira with his cold black eyes. Mira only smiled back. I know. But where are we going anyways? I'm going into the village so I can look at weapons in this shop. They had to leave the Uchiha compound just to go into the village they helped found. Kicked out of their own village, ridiculous. They bleed, sweat, and cried over the village, and this is how they are thanked. Oh, well I will come too. Mira said and grabbed his arm. Naruto wiggled his arm out of her grasp and just continued to walk with Mira at his side. Why are you looking at weapons anyways, Naruto-kun? Naruto turned and gave her a smirk. So I can get stronger. I need a weapon to help me branch my ninja skills out. Most Uchiha only stuck to jutsu and genjutsu and used little tantos. He wanted to be different and become the strongest Uchiha since Madara. Yes, he had read up on the man and one of his idols after his dad, of course. The weapon, we are only 6. Mira said in surprise. Why did he need a weapon at such a young age? Naruto turned and gave her a stern gaze. In this ninja world, if you want to survive you need power. Our clan possesses the strongest ninja. I wish to bring great pride to my clan and parents and in the process become the strongest. Naruto said with a clenched fist and smile. His dream was to one day lead the Uchiha clan and become the strongest Uchiha. Mira, seeing her friend's determination, also thought about what she was training for. Initially she was only training because her brother was strong and she wanted to be strong just like him, but then she met Naruto when her brother visited Naori's house. Now seeing Naruto had such big goals, she wanted to help him and stand by his side. I will get strong to help you, Naruto-kun. In any way she could. That's a big dream. A emotionless voice behind them spoke up. Naruto kept walking, already knowing who it was and not really liking the person. Mira, however, turned and waved at the person. Hey there, Itachi. The now named Itachi Uchiha looked down and smiled at the girl. Hello Mira, how are you today? Great, I am going with Naruto-kun to find a weapon. Itachi raised an eyebrow. A weapon? Yay, Naruto-kun says to help branch out from the clan ways a little bit. Mira told Itachi what Naruto just said. Naruto in the distance turned and looked at both of them. Naruto gazed at Itachi. He never really liked the guy. Naruto was aware of how talented he was in the ninja arts and gave his props because he indeed was talented. However, during this troubling period for the Uchiha, he noticed how Itachi seemed to be at the center of it all. That meant whatever happened to the Uchiha clan would depend on Itachi, who was an Anbu of the village and no doubt had extreme loyalty to the village. Itachi looked back towards Naruto, trying to figure out the young boy who seemed to hold some kind of distrust towards him. Ever since a young age Itachi could never get close to the boy who seemed to have a lot of respect from the other Uchihas of their clan. He had heard when Naruto activated his sharingan at such a young age, the clan seemed to act as if Naruto just created the sun and called him a prodigy. He didn't even know how the hell Naruto did this at such a young age. He had to see his friends die and Naruto just trained and experienced intense emotion. He must have been in a really high emotional state or his dad took it too far with training and he would bet on the latter. "Mira. Come on or the shop will close," Naruto shouted to the young girl. "See you Itachi, got to go get stronger." Mira then ran to Naruto leaving Itachi to himself. "Naruto Uchiha, what does your future hold? I wonder what will become of you." Itachi then left in a flutter of crows but not before catching the backwards glance of Naruto. Along the way to the weapon shop, Naruto received bows and greetings from the people. Old and new, they all respected him for who he was. He responded to all of them, while some of the more hostile Uchihas only scoffed or ignored the spiky-haired boy. Naruto and Mira made it inside the Leaf Village and were making their way to the ninja tool shop. Unlike in the compound they were treated with disdain and scornful looks. They heard mutters behind their back calling them traitors to the village. Mira was getting uncomfortable and hid behind Naruto a little and grabbed his hand for comfort. Naruto seeing this activated his sharingan and glared at the civilians causing them to back off. He held Mira's hand tighter and picked up his speed so they could get out of this place. Despite the situation, Mira blushed at how Naruto was holding her hand and protecting her. It was just like in the princess stories. Next thing he would pick her up in his arms and kiss. No. I am too young to be thinking about things like that. Plus, I need to focus on getting strong right now. I want to be a strong kunoichi like Naori-sama. We're here. Naruto's words brought her out of her thoughts and made her look at the shop they were standing in front of. It was called Leaf Weaponry. "This is a big shop," Mira said in childish awe. Naruto gave her a smirk while still holding her hand. "That means they have a lot of weapons to choose from." Naruto walked into the store and finally let go of Mira's hand much to her disappointment. A bell sounded alerting the shopkeeper to their presence. "Welcome to the dot." He stopped when he noticed it was little kids and Uchiha kids. "Out of my store, no kids allowed," the grizzly man from behind the desk said motioning them to leave. "What, there is no sign for that?" Mira shouted while Naruto stayed calm and started to look around ignoring the fool. "Well, I am telling you to leave," the shopkeeper said, getting angry. "What's your problem?" Naruto asked in a calm tone with his back to the man allowing him to see his Uchiha fan in full detail. "My problem is that I have kids in my weapon shop. This is a ninja village, I am sure you have kids come in here all the time. So what is so different about us coming in here?" Naruto said and picked up a regular katana. He waved Mira over. "Look Mira, do you like these?" Naruto showed her the other swords on the wall. "Ooh, that's a nice one." She grabbed a 16-inch short sword. The girl gave it a couple swings and lunges. "Get out of here you brats." The man came from behind his desk with a broom and tried to push them out. Naruto pulled Mira away and stood in front of her protectively. He looked towards the shelf where he saw a bunch of other weapons on display. He then got an idea. If that's how he wants to be, then I'll be a little petty. Naruto pushed the shelf over knocking all the weapons down to the floor in a giant mess and dashed out the store, followed by Mira. They laughed and ran back to the compound before he could call someone and get them in trouble. "Okay Naruto-kun, that was fun, but I need to get going now, it's getting late." Mira gave Naruto a hug which he returned for once. "Alright Mira, I will see you some other time." Mira gave one last wave and smile, then ran off to the direction of her house. Naruto was about to go home as well, but being just outside the compound he would explore a little and maybe get some training in before he leaves. Naruto ran around the forest of the Leaf Village all by himself. The sun started to go down casting an orange glow on the forest and village. He was using this time to boast his stamina and leg strength. He would often throw punches or kicks and acted like he was hitting an enemy. He jumped over a giant tree root and landed on the ground, but it sounded a little weird. Naruto looked down and stumped his foot on the ground a couple of times. He looked over to the tree that seemed to have a hollowed out section in it. So being curious he walked inside the place and looked down to see a hatch and a Uchiha symbol on it. Naruto pulled the latch off and moved it to the side which revealed a ladder that went down into a hole of darkness. A little off put by the dark hole in the ground he hesitated for a second. However, if he wanted to become stronger he couldn't run away from his fears, so he manned up and climbed down the ladder. Naruto landed on his feet and heard the sound echo all around him. An echo, that means this area is big and hollow. Naruto walked around and watched his steps. He didn't want to trip and land on a pointy item. He felt his hand rest on something. Moving his hand around he felt what seemed to be paper. Why is there paper down here? Naruto then felt a pull on his chakra system. Naruto then saw as light appeared in the room. All along the wall torches blazed to life, birthing life to the room. Naruto was in what looked like an underground cave with a bed made from wood and had sheets on top sitting in the middle. He could see a table with one chair and weapons, along with clothes and food along with other supplies. Naruto walked over to the table where he saw a journal. He ran his fingers on the cover and had to wipe off a little dust that was on his fingers. He saw the name on the front and it made him gasp. Madara Uchiha. Naruto then looked at the weapons along the wall again. He could see multiple red armor sets along with different gunbai and scythes. These were famous weapons used by Madara Uchiha. There were swords, daggers, and kunai down here. Like a vault. Looks to be a hideout. Naruto then turned his attention back to the book on the table. He sat in the chair and opened the first page. I am Madara Uchiha, the leader of the great Uchiha. This is my first entry about the journey I hope to take. It was that idiot Senju who told me to do this. Saying I wouldn't be so uptight if I wrote my feelings down. I hit him with a nice fire jutsu for that comment. Too bad he fucking healed from it. If I had healing abilities like that, I would be unstoppable. Maybe I should bite a piece of his body off in our next fight and bring it to my base for development. All jokes aside, today we battled the Hyuga for their land. The clan also possess a special Dojutsu, but it is nothing compared to the might of the Sharingan. They mainly use hand-to-hand sticking to palm thrust and finger jabs. Deadly at close range, especially that clan head of theirs. His name was Eren Hyuga. He danced well, but once I figured out how their gentle steps worked, it was child's play. We lost some good Uchiha today, and I pray that they rest easy knowing we succeeded in our battle today. We showed no mercy to the enemies like it should be. Compassion and loyalty to my clan. I will also be learning how to use a scythe today for future battles. I don't see anyone using it and it also looks badass. I will write down my sword style along with fighting style. This will be all for today. It seems the Uchiha women need a man to dominate them once more, and who better than I, Madara Uchiha. Remember, a leader must take charge and lead with courage and power. Madara Uchiha. Whoa. These were the only words Naruto could say at the moment. To think he stumbled upon the lair of Madara Uchiha. He flipped through the journal and saw it was filled with entries and jutsu, along with fighting styles of all kinds. He stopped. In this first entry, Madara seemed like a somewhat decent person. How did he go from leading the clan to being labeled a traitor and wanting to destroy the village he created? This must explain how he became what he is today. Naruto looked at the jutsu and styles on the other pages. He would use what he had now in order to become strong and make the clan great once again. He got up from his seat and walked back to the paper on the wall. He guessed it was some kind of seal. Naruto watched as all of the light left the cave once again, bathing it in darkness. He climbed up the ladder and returned home to his family. Not wanting to be under his mother's angry gaze, he picked up his pace in order to not be too late, even though it was already nighttime. Naruto was walking down a pier along with his father, Naka Uchiha. It was a couple of days after he had found Madara's hideout. He decided he would keep it to himself and make it his training spot. Naruto had begun to practice with one of the scythes and gunbai Madara had. It was really hard. The weapons were heavy and he had a hard time bringing the right amount of force needed for some of the moves. It was good training though and he wouldn't quit just because things got hard. That was not the Uchiha way. He wanted to ask his parents for help on using the weapons, but figured it would be no good since they only used swords. It was a good thing Madara had notes on how to use the weapons, or he would really be in deep shit. The scythe was not like a katana that had grace and beauty, the scythe was meant to reap and cause destruction. The gunabi, however, could be used for everything. You could block with devastating power, bring forth massive wind blast and most importantly, reflect attacks. He could not do it yet, so he decided to work on his swordsmanship first, which meant he would work on using katanas first. Which meant he would be asking his father and mother for sword training. Alright Naruto, this is simple. Naruto paid attention to his dad who was on the pier and looking at him with a smirk. Pay attention. This is the Uchiha Trail of Fire. Naka then went through hand signs slow enough for his son to keep up with. Naka then shot a decent-sized fireball over the lake. Naruto looked on at his father with amazement. This was his first time seeing his father use such a high-rank jutsu. He had watched Naka spar with his mother, but it was more like listening because he couldn't see them even with his Sharingan activated. Think you can do that? Naka gave his son a challenging smirk. Naruto didn't give him a reply and simply walked up and did the same hand signs his dad did with just as much ease and finesse. Naruto channeled the chakra in his lungs and brought it to the surface, molding the chakra into hot flames. The boy released a massive fireball on the lake that was so hot Naka could feel the heat from where he was standing. The fireball evaporated part of the lake, causing it to shrink in size. Naka looked on with shock on his face and blinked a couple of times to make sure he was not in some kind of dream. His son just shot a fireball bigger than his own. He turned to Naruto, who didn't even look tired and could still keep going. The man's shoulders then began to shake. Naka then started to laugh, causing Naruto to look at him with a raised eyebrow. Way to go, son. You did that on your first try. Naka ruffled Naruto's hair and grinned down at the boy. Naruto only smiled with pride and joy in himself. It seemed as if all his training was paying off and he would only grow stronger from here. That was the goal after all. Become strong. The father and son were so focused on their recent achievements that they didn't notice eyes on them. Itachi was with his younger sister Satsuki, who had just witnessed the whole thing. The young girl had gotten stars in her eyes and had an excited look on her face. Oni-chan. That was so cool. How did he do that? I want to do that and be just like Naruto. Satsuki spoke with excitement. Everyone in the clan knew who Naruto was. It was no secret that there was another Uchiha prodigy on the rise. Itachi, however, was not as excited as his sister. That was bigger than my fireball when I first tried it. Not to mention the boy is still growing and has a good head on his shoulders. He then looked down to his sister, who seemed to admire the young Uchiha. I don't want her to be close to someone who clearly doesn't like me and has extreme loyalty to the clan at times like these. Itachi patted Satsuki on the head, gaining the young girl's attention. Are you going to teach me that? Satsuki asked, giving Itachi the puppy dog eyes. I can teach you that and so much more. Just don't hang around him too much. Itachi started with a smile but finished with a serious look towards his younger sister. Oh, okay. Satsuki replied with a little hesitation in her tone at the mood swing of her brother. Itachi, seeing his sister was a bit shaken up, decided he would make it up to her. Giving her the famous finger poke to the head, she blushed and grabbed her forehead. He smiled down at her. Come on, let's go home and do some training. Itachi walked off with his sister on his back, and Naruto along with Naka also went home to do some sword training for Naruto. None of them noticed the Anbu in the trees. It was a male with a blank white mask. I will report this to Danzo-sama. He would like to know about such a child. Naruto was walking back to his house with his father next to him. They waved and smiled at all the Uchihas greeting them. It was all smiles and how handsome the young Naruto-sama looked. It was a difference from how he was talked about in the Hidden Leaf village. He was sent glares, cursed at, spit on, but only to his back. The young Uchiha girls around his age blushed and waved shyly towards him. He would only look at them with an uninterested gaze and look the other way. Naruto was ignoring them, but it only seemed to make them more interested. Naka, seeing this, only chuckled at his son's fangirls. It seemed that even in the great Uchiha clan, there were Uchiha fangirls. Naruto looked at his dad with a raised eyebrow. Naruto was then stopped when one of the Uchiha boys ran up to him. He looked like the normal Uchiha with pale skin with black hair and eyes. Naruto-sama. Are you going to be in the tournament later today? Naruto only smirked at the boy. Is that really a question? You should be ashamed of yourself. Naruto said coolly and walked off. All the girls had hearts in their eyes while the boy said how cool he was. So you want to participate in this tournament? I guess you will have to get some training in, won't you? Naka looked down at his son with a smirk, which Naruto returned. Yes, and I was going to ask you and mom for help on sword practice. Naruto stated. Oh, now you want to use swords. Yes, eventually I would like to be able to use a scythe like Madara-sama. I tried to use one of those things and let me say, it is hard as shit. It may look cool, but it's not cool when you almost cut your hand off. Well, I will just have to be better than you, won't I? Naruto said with a challenging smirk on his face. You little brat. Naka put Naruto in a headlock and hit him on the head. You'll never surpass your awesome dad. Just you wait, old man. Naruto shouted, losing his temper and getting ready to throw down in the middle of the street with his dad. Naka got a tick mark on his head. It seemed he needed to teach his son a lesson in manners. Right before he could get into it, a Uchiha from the police force appeared and whispered in his ear. Naruto witnessed his dad's face go from joking to serious in a matter of seconds. He wondered what made his dad so tense like this. If he had to guess, it had something to do with the clan. Sorry, Naruto, but I have to attend a meeting with the clan and its elders. His look turned apologetic. Ask your mother if she can teach you. Naka then left in a body flicker with the Uchiha to the meeting point. Naruto looked down in sadness. He quickly got a hold of his emotions and started to walk off. I need to figure out what is going on. But I don't know where they are meeting. Naruto then searched his thoughts for where they might be gathering. He went through all the possible places they may be. All historical landmarks in the compound until he remembered something in Madara's journal. He snapped his fingers and quickly headed off. They are at the Uchiha tablet. Naruto put his hands in a ram sign for the body flicker. He learned it from Shisui. Not having practiced it much, he had to use a lot of focus and chakra to really get moving like Shisui. Naruto then left, burning the ground in his wake, not knowing he used fire on a subconscious level. Naruto appeared outside in the forest area. He had to wait a minute to catch his breath. He would be good after that in a matter of seconds. Naruto began to walk in the forest until he found what he was looking for. Nakano Shrine. It was a place the Uchihas would go to have meetings and even give birth in hopes of having a blessed child. He then saw the place he was looking for. The shrine looked as if it was made yesterday with how clean it was. Not even a hint of dust on it. Naruto hid his presence as much as he could for someone his age. He snuck into the building and found himself in a room with placemats all over the place. He activated his sharingan and scanned the room looking for the hidden entrance. He found the mat and silently moved it and crawled down into the entrance. He could see a good part of the clan, men and women, even Shisui. Fugaku was standing at the front of the room with crossed arms and listening to the complaints of the clan. Fugaku then opened his eyes revealing his 3-tomo sharingan and silenced everyone in the room with just a look. I know how we are being treated and it sickens me to the core. We have given so much for this village, but time and time again we were denied our achievements. The clan members began to murmur in anger to each other. It stopped when the clan head spoke again. I spoke with the Hokage today. He said that him and the council were trying to find a way to figure this all out. But to me it just sounded like bullshit. He's been saying that for years, allowing the elders and civilians to push him around. He need just give us what was taken from us. The clan roared in agreement. Fugaku then closed his eyes again and opened them once again allowing his mangyeko sharingan to flare to life. We will just take it back ourselves. Naruto widened his eyes in shock at what he just heard. A revolution against the village was sure to get them all killed. This would spark a civil war in the village, causing them to die useless deaths. He can't allow that to happen, he wouldn't. Naka snapped his head towards his friend with wide eyes. What the hell was he talking about, take it themselves? Did he not understand the words he just said? Oi. You don't mean fight against the leaf, do you? That's exactly what I mean. We have suffered under their rule for too long. They won't even let us in the damn village anymore without being watched. Fugaku looked back at his friend with a stern look on his face. There was no backing down from this now. Shit. To think of something so crazy. What will we tell the Hokage now? I could reveal my mangyeko ability, but that man Danzo rubs me the wrong way, not to mention how the Hokage seem to not care about their problems. Makes me wonder why I should go against my clan when we have done nothing wrong. This were the thoughts of Shisui Uchiha. He had been spying on the clan along with the village to make sure nothing like this would happen. Foolish. Everyone stopped what they were doing when they heard the shout. They looked behind them to the entrance to see Naruto walking from the back of the room. Then Naruto. Naka muttered. What are you doing here, boy? Uchiha shouted, pointing a finger at Naruto. Only to recoil from the heated glare he received from the boy who had his sharingan. Although he was a child, his singling could release a good amount of kai. What is wrong with you? A revolt against the Hidden Leaf Village. Not only will that fail, it will also get us all killed. Naruto raged at all of them with his red eyes beaming in the firelit room. The clan members were silent at the moment. To be getting yelled at by a child hurt their pride, even if he was a royal child of the clan. Our clan is already low on numbers due to the last war and high-rank missions we keep getting sent on, which if you didn't know, were suicide missions. That's enough. Fugaku tried to place a hand on Naruto's shoulder and take control of the room back. And you? How could you even think of something like that? You are the clan head, the strongest of us. You help us thrive, not plummet, especially in times like these. Yet, you say we should revolt against the leaf. Naruto smacked Fugaku's hand away, making the man widen his eyes at the anger being directed towards him. Do you really think we can defeat the strongest village along with the strongest Hokage? You can't even defeat the Hokage, so how would you even expect us to beat him along with the rest of the village? Questioned Naruto. Fugaku stayed silent, actually taking the time to think about how they would even execute such a plan. Naruto was right, he wasn't strong enough to beat the Hokage, and the members of his clan were lacking in number. But they had to do something or they would suffer until the village decided they had enough and killed them all in their sleep. You clearly didn't think all of this through. I have a better idea. Naruto said, gaining everyone's attention. If they want us out of the village that badly, why don't we just leave? Many gasped at his statement. Naka, Shisui, and Fugaku looked at Naruto with wide eyes. The thought of leaving not even crossed their mind. And where would we go? A female Uchiha asked, standing up. She did not want to fight the Leaf Village because she knew damn well that it would not work and they would only suffer from the action. Naruto had his eyes closed in thought. This was a big moment for him and the clan. They were not outright rejecting his answer, which meant not all of them wanted to fight the village to regain respect of those who would rather see them dead. He then remembered the state of the world right now. The stone was recovering from the last war, the cloud was not on good terms with the leaf due to what happened with the Hyuga, the leaf was suffering from internal conflict, and last was the Mist Village. They were in a civil war that had been going on for a couple of years now and was completely blocked off from the rest of the world. The answer then came to him. We will go to the Hidden Mist Village. Naruto stated simply. Once again the Uchiha were shocked. Out of all the places to have picked. The Mist Village, which was already in a civil war, was just crazy, but compared to what they were about to do, could it really be that much different? I know what you are thinking, and yes, it is a wild idea. But think about it. If we go to the Mist Village, we can help the bloodline users and take charge. If we show up, not only will the people be in our debt, but we can also lead the village once everything is over. Genius, to think of such a plan at a young age. Shisui thought in amazement towards Naruto. You think the leaf will just let us leave? Fugaku asked, a bit interested in Naruto's plan. What are they going to do, hunt us down? No hunter ninja in that village is strong enough to take us down. It would take the Hokage and some of his top ninja to bring us down, and even then the leaf would suffer major losses, making them even weaker. Naruto replied with a proud smirk. Whether it was in his clan's strength or the fact he came up with such a good plan. What about the other villages? They will surely come after us, another Uchiha asked, getting to his feet. The other villages are in no position to make such moves against us. It will be a clear shot to the Mist Village, and all we would have to worry about are Anbu forces and spies. Naruto said, narrowing his eyes around the room with a piercing gaze. What do you mean, spies? Are you saying someone is a traitor to the clan? Fugaku asked with a serious tone. This was something he had been thinking about for a long time and had a feeling he already knew who it was, or maybe he knew but just didn't want to believe it. Yes, I already suspect it to be someone, but I am sure you know who I am talking about. Naruto casted Fugaku a look that said it all. It made his heart sink to think about it like that. Not him. Damn, to think Naruto would suspect Itachi, and it seemed like his father already knew this the whole time, but still invited him into the meetings. Should I tell him about this or not? I will keep it to myself. Shisui put his head down in the back of the room in deep thought. Because his head was down, he didn't notice the intense look he was receiving from Naruto. So it seems he was in on it as well, but he seems to not be fully committed. Naruto liked that. As much as Shisui got on his nerves, he was still family and a close friend. Not to mention the brother of Mira. Naruto then looked around at the people gathered. They filled up the whole underground hideout. There were about 70 members down here, and they were all very powerful. Still not enough to fight a whole village. They seem to not be behind me fully. It could be because I am a kid and don't hold any real power. Naruto clenched his fist. Again, the lack of power crept into his mind. Naruto knew he had to get strong and earn the clan's respect, and the tournament later would be the perfect place for that. He just needed to be careful, or this greed for power would overcome him like his father told him. Naka still regretted what he had done for power till this day and was reminded of it every time he saw his wife's one good eye. Naruto walked back to the exit, and the Uchihas created a path for the young boy. They had their heads bowed just the slightest, not even realizing they were doing this. Fugaku looked on with surprise at the young boy. This boy came in here and shocked the place to its core and hammered away some good points which he would have to think about. Naka looked at his son with pride. He was turning into quite the shinobi and would no doubt make his family proud. He would make sure his son thrived in this world. Naruto walked back to his house in deep thought. The things he discovered just now were actually mind-blowing. He felt anger at his clan for thinking of such stupid plans, confusion at why the village would push them so far that it would come to this. He then felt resolute that he needed to save his clan from such destruction. After going through the notes of Madara, he also found a dislike for the Senju. It was for different reasons though. He disliked the Senju because they were being oppressed by the teachings of the Senju. This was what Madara warned his clan about. Naruto had read a little further in the journal of Madara in the search of looking for more teachings. He found life lessons and ways to improve the Sharingan. Naruto decided that when they moved to another village they would have to lead the village. He would take time to think over this matter some more. Putting those thoughts aside, Naruto opened the sliding door to his house and immediately went to the back, not even bothering to take off his shoes, he simply went to the back. Hey son. Naori greeted her son with the same loving smile she always gave him. She was surprised when he didn't even answer and just went outside. What's up with him? Naori got up from her seat and walked to the backyard and saw Naruto knee-deep in training. He was going through katas for the interceptor fist. It was most effective when the Sharingan was activated and you simply predicted the moves of the opponent. Naruto didn't have his Sharingan activated and simply wanted to master the style without the eyes first. So when he did activate the Sharingan, it would be impossible to get the upper hand on him. Naruto would also train his one-tomo Sharingan to the max, wanting to get the most potential out of it. He trained it to the point where the eyes would forcefully be deactivated from lack of chakra. Naruto then went through hand signs for the fireball jutsu. Naori watched in amazement as she witnessed Naruto make the biggest fireball she had seen for such a small child. What was even more amazing was that Naruto did not seem tired whatsoever. He then started to do physical workouts. Naruto would normally do 100 push-up, sit-ups and squats, but he was going to push it and go for 200 today. Naori watched as her son trained non-stop and didn't give up. That was something you would need to become a successful ninja. However, you also needed to take a break. Naori appeared in front of Naruto and caught his fist, making him look surprised for a little. His mother was also surprised at the force that was carried in that punch. It made her bones rattle just the slightest. Time to break, Naruto-kun. Naori clapped her hands with a smile. She could see Naruto needed to break or he would pass out. After this, Naruto then threw a punch for his mother's stomach, but she blocked it easily. He was not deterred though because he continued his onslaught of attacks. Naruto threw a kick meant to clip his mother's ankles. Naori saw this before Naruto even knew he would make the move, which led to her jumping over the leg sweep. She was not expecting Naruto to put his hands on the ground and do rapid leg kicks. Naori blocked them all with ease, but was just surprised that Naruto would do something like that. He did a sweeping leg kick, but again she jumped over it, but Naruto knew this and used it as a way to get up with momentum. Naruto got up and went for a leaping punch towards her face, but Naori only caught his hand and did a shoulder toss. Before Naruto could hit the ground, he put his hands in a half-ram sign and disappeared in a body flicker. He even knows that. It is not to the level of Shisui-kun, but he can still grow. Naori easily sidestepped a straight punch from Naruto. Her black eyes tracked his movements with ease. Naruto appeared again and threw quick punches, but Naori dodged, spun, and slipped around his punches. She saw Naruto miss a step and trip on his feet, and she took this chance to end the little fight. Naori land punched to Naruto's right side, which sent him a good distance away. Naruto coughed on the ground and looked up to the sky. He just got beat by one punch from his sweet mother. It seemed all the training she had been doing wasn't just for show. Naruto looked to the side and saw his mother's two swords sitting on the porch. That made him think about his own kinjutsu training. He was learning himself, so he didn't know if he was good or not, but he would like to learn from his parents who are masters of the blade. "Suu, now will you take a break?" His mother's face blocked his view, showing her smiling face. "Yes." Naruto responded with a sigh. "Great." She picked Naruto up and walked over to the porch and sat down, putting him in her lap. Naruto normally would have complained about this, but simply let her do whatever since he was tired. "Now I see you have a high affinity for fire, but just to be sure, why don't we check?" Naori pulled out some chakra paper holding two slips. "Watch closely." Naori said as she channeled chakra into the paper and watched as it caught fire and crumbled. "So you have fire and earth?" Naruto said, more as a statement than a question. "Yup, now let's see what you have." She handed her son the slips, which he took with vigor and all to quickly channel chakra into the paper. Naori watched as the paper caught in a blazing inferno and sparked with lighting that seemed. She noticed something strange about his lighting though. It seemed to change colors to purple and quickly went back and checked to see if it was the same with his fire, but saw it was still the same color. "I have two like you," Naruto said in excitement. "I can help you with your training in nature if you want." Really? Naruto turned in his mother's lap and looked at her with joy. "Of course, son, anything for you." She wrapped him in a warm embrace, one Naruto quickly returned. There was a soft smile on Naruto's face. He cherished moments like this with his mother. It also only made his goal much clearer. Naruto pulled away and gave his mother another questioning gaze. "Mom, can you train me in using two swords like you and Dad?" Naruto really wanted to learn this. If he could use a sword in one hand and a scythe in the other hand, he would be a menace in close quarter combat, not to mention he would be using a gun by as well. "Why do you want to use swords all of a sudden?" Naori asked with a raised delicate eyebrow. "Dad asked me the same thing. Is it really so bad for me to use swords?" Naruto said with a little annoyance in his tone. It was quickly washed away when he felt a hand smack his head. "Don't take that tone with me, young man. I brought you into this world and I can take you out of it," Naori said, looking down at her son who was still in her lap with a lump forming on his head. "I didn't even do anything. I just asked a question." He rubbed his head. Naori looked for a moment. Well, I guess I overreacted a little." She looked sheepish and had a small blush of embarrassment on her face. "Can you teach me or not? I can just ask Dad if you circa." "No. I can teach you." Naori cut him off. She wanted to train her son as well. Her stupid husband was taking all the training sessions. "I am better than your father after all," she said with clear pride in her voice. "Okay, let's get started." Naruto jumped off her lap and went back out to the field ready to start his kinjutsu training. 3 hours later. Madara hideout. Naruto was back in the dark cave reading through the notes of the legendary Uchiha. He had come down here to get a breather and prepare for the tournament coming up later today. He would show his skill and prove his strength to the clan, which would further bring his name up in the clan, which would make them want to follow him more. Right now he was reading something very interesting. It dealt with Madara unlocking some new form to his eyes. Today we had a battle with the Senju. It was a long battle which we almost came out on top, but that blasted Senju Tobirama created some teleportation jutsu and managed to mortally wound my beloved younger brother. I had Hashirama in a pinch and was closing in on the victory. Once I heard my brother scream, I looked to see him on the ground bleeding. I abandoned my battle with Hashirama and quickly helped him up. His wound was lethal and he needed immediate attention. That was when Hashirama extended a hand to me for an alliance in order to make our young dream of peace come true. I was going to accept. I too was getting tired of losing loved ones and wanted an everlasting peace for my people as their leader. That was my duty. Right when I was going to put an end to it, my brother stopped me and reminded me that they were the whole reason he and my clan were dying off. I quickly left the scene with those who were able to leave. His condition did not get any better and it drove me crazy. I tried everything, we even had the best doctor this world had to offer. When things were getting to an all-time low and I slowly began to lose hope. Even members of the clan started to leave and join the Senju of all things. My brother passed away with the only thing being left of him his eyes that I now use to see the world in a new light. I've now gained power unmatched by the clan. It is my eternal mangyeko sharingan. Never-ending light. But these new eyes come a boast in all my capabilities. I even have a new power called the Susanoo. It is the ultimate defense along with offense. There is another step higher called the perfect Susanoo which reaches even the heavens. I will take this power and crush the Senju once and for all. Madara Uchiha. So it seems when he losing someone close to you, it gives you power. What a tragic tale, to have lost his brother and even have some of his clanmates give up on him. Naruto walked away from the table and got back to training with his kunai and shuriken. After doing a couple of flips in the air, Naruto threw his kunai and watched as they all bounced off each other and flew to their own targets, landing right on the bullseye. He landed with his sharingan activated and let out a breath. He then heard the sound of his kunai hitting something else which unlocked a compartment. He walked over and saw a needle wrapped in paper and sitting in a black box with protective padding. It seemed to just fall out the wall if the perfect hole in the wall the size of the box was anything to go by. Naruto picked up the paper and saw Madara's handwriting on the paper. Hashirama cells. Naruto blinked and looked at the needle with clear liquid inside the jar. How the hell did he get this? Naruto then remembered Madara said he would bite off a piece of Hashirama to gain power. Whoa, so just putting this in my body will make me stronger. Naruto looked at the needle with trepidation. This was something he needed and would only help him, but stuff like this had major drawbacks. Looking back at the paper, Naruto saw more. Danger, this fool's cells are very powerful and if not strong enough could take over your body and kill you. But if I am able to assimilate the cells into my body, then I will have amazing regeneration and be able to use wood style. Well, I'll be damned, the great healing and wood style. Now he was really tempted to inject this into his body. But my body is definitely not strong enough to handle the power of the first Hokage. Naruto put everything back to how it was and decided he would come back for this when he was much older and could handle such power. He had a tournament to attend right now anyways. Fixing his clothes which consisted of a black pants and a white form-fitting shirt. Over this he wears a black high-collared, long-sleeved mantle that splits down the lower half of his body with a Uchiha crest on his back. Around his waist he wears a white obi and black belt. Now let's get things started. Uchiha Square. It was now night time and there were members of the clan all crowded around in the park watching their kids battle it out in a ring. It was just a big white circle on the ground with people outside the circle placing bets and cheering the kids on. They were currently cheering on Naruto who was giving a beating to another kid. Naruto ducked and moved to the side, avoiding a blow that would have done major damage. He didn't need his sharingan activated to see this boy's moves. Naruto was also training his regular eyes to watch body movement and predict his opponent's body movements. Naruto quickly moved in on his enemy and delivered merciless shots to the kid's body. Naruto finished it all off with a spin kick which sent him out of the arena. Who's next? Naruto shouted, standing tall in the circle, allowing the wind to blow his hair. The crowd roared and cheered in approval at the young boy's performance. He had won 13 fights in a row without taking a single hit. Way to go, Naruto-sama. Can I be your girlfriend? He's going to be the next genius of our clan. Naruto only smiled at his plan. His smile did not go unnoticed though. Itachi was in the crowd with his family watching the impressive matches. He was impressed by Naruto becoming so strong at a young age. However, that smile, it is not a smile you have when beating someone, it is a smile you have when everything is going your way, as if you had just finished a plan to 100% accuracy. Do-chan. I want to go and do that. I've been training as well. Itachi looked down at his sister who was begging their father to let her go and fight. Go ahead, you'll beat him in an instant. Fugaku said with a smirk towards his daughter. Right. Satsuki dashed off to the circle. Naruto saw her coming and his smile only grew, putting Itachi on edge. What is he planning? He seems to have got everything he wanted once again. Was getting my sister to come and fight part of his plan? But for what reason? For the life of him. Itachi just couldn't seem to get inside of Naruto's head. The little Uchiha was quite the cunning fox. "You're going down. Naruto," Satsuki said with a confident smirk on her face. "And come," Naruto said calmly and made a bring it gesture with his hands. She wasted no time and ran towards Naruto with the intent to come out on top. The crowd was silent for once at the match in front of them. This was the daughter of the clan head and younger sister to the greatest prodigy Itachi vs Naruto, the only son of Naori and Naka Uchiha. Some of the greatest Uchihas the clan has produced. Naruto easily grabbed the fist Satsuki threw towards him. He stepped into her guard and delivered a shoulder tackle to the girl who was smaller than him. He kept hold on her wrist and gave a countless amount of punches to her gut and face. Naruto would have done more, but Satsuki managed to duck her head and bring it up quickly. What she thought would be an easy hit was stopped when Naruto delivered a quick chop to her neck, making her crack her head to where Naruto delivered the chop. Naruto pushed her away, making Satsuki stumble back in a slight daze. Those punches hurt and they came so fast. She could feel some blood in her mouth and swallowed it. Naruto rushed her in an attempt to overwhelm her. The only person who could somewhat match him was Mira, but she didn't want to fight in the tournament. Naruto went for a right hook to the girl's face, but she blocked it and threw her own punch, but Naruto also blocked that and countered with a punch of his own. Satsuki barely avoided the attack and because she was too slow, a fist from Naruto made her see stars. "You've got to be faster than that." Naruto had his hands up and bounced on his feet. "You don't tell me what to do." Satsuki charged Naruto, who only had a smirk on his face and simply evaded all of her attacks with ease. "Faster?" Naruto threw a punch that connected with her chin, snapping her head upwards. Naruto flipped over her and gave the girl a kick to the back of the head, making her stumble. "Pay attention." Naruto went for a kick to her back, but she turned around with great speed and grabbed him by the ankle and threw it to the side, leaving him suspended in midair. "Now!" Satsuki shouted inside her mind and delivered a strong punch to Naruto's gut, making him wince a little from the clean hit. Naruto landed on his feet but had a hand on his gut. "Not bad, it seems I took you too lightly." Naruto stood to his feet, all the pain from the recent attack gone. "I'll end this right now." Naruto activated his one-tomo sharingan, making everyone in the crowd gasp. The boy of only 6 managed to awaken the sharingan. This was the youngest case of someone unlocking the sharingan. He would surely go on to do great things in life. No time to be amazed, stay focused. Naruto dashed in with speed far greater than what he was using a minute ago. Satsuki tried to stop him with a punch, but he simply blocked it. He delivered a barrage of kicks, but Satsuki blocked them. She put her hands down, thinking it was over, until she felt the sandal of Naruto kick her in the face, sending her rolling across the ground. About to get back to her feet, she looked up to see Naruto coming down with a fist ready to knock her out. Satsuki closed her eyes expecting Naruto to hit her in the face, but cracked open one eye to see Naruto smiling down at her. A little dust of pink came to her cheeks from how handsome Naruto looked at this moment. "That was a good fight, train harder and come face me again." Naruto extended a hand to her. Satsuki's family was watching with a mixture of emotions. "Oh my, has our daughter found her a little crush already?" Mikoto giggled into her hand. "As she lost, and Naruto beat her so easy," Fugaku said in shock. They had been training their daughter in the way of the ninja, and she was showing good results. But Naruto beat her like it was nothing, even when he didn't have his sharingan activated. To think, he could control the flow of the battle so perfectly. He only activated his sharingan so he could show everyone. Itachi looked on with an impassive face. Naruto stood in the middle of the ring with a satisfied smirk on his face. Everything had gone according to plan, and now was the last part. The winner is Naruto Uchiha. Uchiha walked over and bro Naruto's hand up and watched as the crowd went wild with cheers. He beat the clan head's daughter. Naruto-sama should become the next clan head. Once again Naruto was satisfied. Everything was going just the way he wanted. All he needed to do was to make sure everyone followed his plan when the time came. One day later. Naruto was returning home after a training session in Madara's hideout. He had practiced on using the gunbai and it was starting to show great results. He read in Madara's journal that he could use it to form wind attacks without having wind nature chakra. This meant he could summon wind attacks with his gunbai and enhance them with his fire, causing nothing but death to his enemies, just the way it should be. It was 11 AM and Naruto was going to go home and see if he could get his mom to make him some lunch. He couldn't train effectively on an empty stomach after all. Maybe he would go see how Mira is doing and get some training from her speedster of a brother. The image of Satsuki then popped into his head. The girl was talented and had great potential, she could become a wonderful rival and friend in the future. However, her brother, Itachi, would be a problem. He didn't like the guy one bit and was sure after he beat his sister in a fight, Itachi did not like him that much either. Naruto's thoughts were put to a direct halt when he jumped out of the way of senbon needles that would have knocked him out. Naruto pulled out a kunai and looked around for who that senbon. Naruto activated his one-tomo sharingan and blocked or deflected a volley of more senbon. When it was over, Naruto lowered his kunai but was still on guard. When lowering his hand, he noticed a small cut and felt his left hand get numb. Poison, damn. I need to work on my reaction time, I was too slow. Naruto mentally berated himself for being poisoned. His red eyes scanned the trees for the slightest hint of movement. He noticed a branch move slightly and immediately launched a kunai at the branch. All Naruto received for his efforts was a log falling from the tree. A substitution. Naruto though quickly and dropped a smoke bomb. Running out of the smoke was two shadow clones of Naruto in different directions. If I make it closer to the compound, I will be able to receive help. With that in mind, the clones rushed off with speed, surprising the people attacking Naruto. Follow them all, we can't let him escape. Someone spoke from under a tan cloak in the trees. Revealing only a lizard mask. 3 other masked figures nodded and dashed off after Naruto, not knowing who was the real one. Naruto was running through the forest with his head on a swivel and sweat coming down his face. He still didn't know who was chasing him and only hoped that he would be fast enough to make it home in time. That senbon was poisoned and meant to knock him out, which meant they wanted him alive and take him somewhere, and he couldn't allow that to happen, not at a time like this. Naruto turned and deflected a kunai that was aimed at his shoulder. Knowing he had just been spotted, he picked up his speed using the little chakra control he knew to send it to his legs and dashed off with speeds of a genin. Naruto had made it out of the forest and was now in a clearing. 3 masked ninjas appeared in front of him with tantos drawn and ready to apply force. The purple-tinted haired boy stopped on a dime and stood in place glaring at the masked ninja while a silence ran through the field with the sound of his heart beating like crazy in his ears. "What does the Anbu of the village want with me?" Naruto asked, but it sounded more like a demand. "Just come with us and nobody will get hurt." The what looked like captain wearing the lizard mask spoke, aiming his tanto at Naruto threateningly. "I'll never come with you." Naruto pulled out a kunai and got ready to do battle. He wished now more than ever that he had brought a gun by his side with him. That way he could defend himself better from the battle he knew was going to happen. "You have no choice," the captain said and leaped towards Naruto. The boy put up his kunai and guard against the tanto, which was pressing down on him with great force. He locked eyes with the captain and used his genjutsu skills he received from his mother and father to place the guy in a quick genjutsu that would leave him frozen. With the captain being frozen, Naruto lunged his kunai towards the guy's heart, aiming to get a quick kill. However, Lizard wasn't captain for nothing and quickly dispelled the genjutsu and only suffered a shoulder wound. Lizard jumped back and pulled the kunai out while he let his 2 comrades go forward. They also had tantos out and ready to deal damage to the midnight-haired boy, who quickly created a clone and charged back with vigor. Naruto's heart was pumping and his blood flowed through his body, fueling his muscles. Clashing kunai and tanto together, Naruto and his clone were quickly being outmatched. Naruto, seeing this, decided he would just have to fight dirty and try to get a signal out to his clan. Naruto spit through the eye hole of his masked attacker, whose mask looked like an owl. He quickly moved to the masked ninja's blind side and jammed a kunai to the guy's neck, but he slightly evaded it but still suffered a small cut on his uncovered neck. It seemed like only the captain could wear a cloak. Naruto put his hand in a half-ram sign and body flickered to his clone's side and quickly did a barrage of slices to the other Anbu, pushing him back from the surprising speed and power behind the boy's attack. Naruto body flickered back a good distance and went through hand signs for the fire-style fireball jutsu. Instead of aiming it towards them like the Anbu thought, Naruto shot the massive fireball into the sky and watched as it went to heights which could be seen from the compound. Naruto also pumped a good amount of chakra into that fireball, and the release no doubt was felt back in the compound. Naruto's chakra even cratered the ground he was standing on. "Damn," he sent a signal to the traitors. "Quickly get him before backup arrives." The captain along with the other Anbu charged towards Naruto with speeds his sharingan could barely keep up with. "Shit. They are much faster, I can barely see them." Naruto did something he saw Shisui do with his sharingan while they were training one time. Naruto channeled fire nature chakra onto his kunai, which extended the kunai to 14 inches. Naruto combined this with the body flicker and began to appear and disappear while swinging his flame-covered kunai multiple times, sending out flaming blades that connected with his desired targets. This was called Uchiha-style Halo dance. Naruto appeared back into view and dropped down to a knee, the effects of everything was starting to drain him of his chakra. The Anbu were now littered with burns on their gear and had blood running down their heads and arms. The captain lifted his mask slightly and spit out some blood. "It seems we underestimated you too much." He got a middle finger from Naruto as his response. "We won't make that mistake again, boy." The Anbu disappeared from view, making Naruto get back to his feet and look around for them with his red eyes glowing. Naruto was punched in the face and kicked in the back while someone kicked his leg, dropping him to a knee. The boy rolled and got back to his feet but couldn't block the tanto that sliced through his right side, causing blood to gush from his black high collar long sleeve. A cry of pain escaped Naruto's throat and he clutched his bleeding side. Looking back up, Naruto could see the tanto coming down to slice his chest open and no doubt kill him or at least knock him out, letting him be taken and healed up by these Anbu. The world slowed and Naruto could see the pattern the tanto was going and calculated different ways to dodge it effectively. Naruto moved out of the way of the falling tanto and readied his kunai to shove directly up the masked ninja's throat. When the world picked back up, Naruto was untouched by the tanto, while his kunai was now sitting safely in the masked Anbu named Owl's throat. Everyone stopped and just let what happened sink in. Naruto had just killed an Anbu. The young Uchiha looked up and heard the masked ninja gasp. He had just awakened the second tomo of his sharingan in both eyes. Catching the light reflection of his kunai, Naruto saw his sharingan had evolved and a grin spread across his face. "Looks like I leveled up." The grin left his face as he remembered where he was and what position he was in. Naruto knew he was still weaker than these guys and would still lose this fight if nobody came to help him. Indeed, but it is of no importance. The captain said and appeared behind Naruto with a senbon in hand. The lizard mask ninja was going to jam the needle into the neck of Naruto until his face was grabbed and shoved to the floor, cracking his mask and skull from the force which caused the ground to crater and cracks to spread. Naruto turned around and saw his dad standing there with a furious look on his face. He had his katana drawn and mangyeko blazing ready to take lives. "The dad," Naruto said in relief and awe. He had just killed that guy by simply slamming his head on the ground. Naka looked down and saw his son's changed eyes. Letting a smile grass his face, Naka ruffled Naruto's hair. "Good job, my son, it seems you keep getting stronger right under my nose." Naruto smiled tiredly and began to stumble forward until he fell into his father's arms. All the events finally catching up to him and his body giving out on him. Naka created a clone and handed his son over to it. Once that was done, his kai flared and covered the whole clearing and his chakra poured off him in waves. Naka's mangyeko was in the form of a red three-pointed pinwheel, while his pupil was prominent in the center. "Now, care to tell me why you attacked my son, Anbu of the Leaf?" He spat out with clear disgust. "We were just finishing off a future traitor." The Anbu said and charged Naka with his full speeds, which was jounin level. Naka easily ducked the tanto swipe meant to take his head off and quickly slashed his blade, and faster than the Anbu could see, Naka sliced his head off. Not like it matters anyways, this was the last straw. Naka slid his blade into its sheath and walked over and took his son back into his arms, letting his clone dispel. He gave a kiss to Naruto's forehead and smiled one last time. "You'll go on to do big things, Naruto. Don't let the curse of hatred swallow you up like it did your failure of a father. Never falter from your path, lead the clan into a new age, and take care of your mother for me." Giving one last hug to Naruto, he left in a body flicker to the Hidden Leaf village with a clear goal in mind. A few seconds later, a group of Uchiha appeared with weapons ready, being led by Naori Uchiha, the wife of Naka Uchiha, and One-Eyed Empress. The Uchiha scanned the area around and looked at the battle that had clearly just taken place along with the chakras still floating aimlessly in the air from the leftover battle. That was when they all saw Naruto and the dead bodies on the ground. Naori was at Naruto's side in an instant, checking over him. "Naru-chan." She picked him up and saw the bleeding wound on his right side and blood coming from his lip with scratches and dirt all on his clothes. Checking to see if Naruto was still alive before anything else, she placed her fingers on his neck waiting for a pulse. When she felt it, she let out a sigh and wiped the tears that were in the corner of her eyes. Naori picked Naruto up and went back to the clan members that had followed her ready to do battle. They thought it was the Leaf Ninjas trying to send them to an early grave. "Naori-sama. Is Naruto-sama okay?" a male Uchiha asked, stepping up with worry all over his face. Naori simply smiled at the worry and respect her son was getting from the clan. Her smile dropped and became an angry sneer. "It looks like the Leaf Anbu attacked Naru." Naori's tone was icy and it sent shivers up the other's spine. "But it seems he managed to kill them." One of them spoke up. "No, it looks like Naruto-sama only killed one and the other two died to someone else." An Uchiha said while looking at the dead bodies. "It was my husband, I felt his chakra and kai on our way here." Naori answered their unanswered question. "But where is he now? Why would he kill them and leave Naru-chan by himself?" "We should hurry to the clinic and heal Naruto-sama of his wounds first." A medical ninja of the Uchiha said, looking at Naruto's injury. "Yes, let us do that first." Naori said and took to the trees, casting a worried glance towards the Leaf Village. Hokage office. Hiruzen was in the office signing paperwork while his mind wondered about the things that had been taking place. The Nine Tails attacked the village, leaving it in ruins and killing the fourth Hokage. People claimed to see a sharingan in the Nine Tails' eyes, and he too saw the Dojutsu of the Uchiha clan in its eyes. There was only one person who was able to control the Nine Tails, and that was Madara Uchiha, but it was no secret that Naka possessed the ability to control Biju, since he did the same thing to the Five Tails during the war when his squad was pinned down and there was no yellow flash to save them. When the attack was over, someone leaked not only the identity of the Nine Tails vessel, but also that the Nine Tails was being controlled. He had a feeling that he knew who the person was. He talked to him about it, but nothing seemed to work out and things only got worse. Hiruzen pulled out a folder that was labeled classified. It was about the Uchiha and everything that was going on. Itachi had managed to give him some information containing the clan. He opened the folder and revealed a profile on Naruto Uchiha, the son of Naori and Naka Uchiha. He was the youngest member to awaken the Sharingan at only 6. The boy was showing great skill and was considered a prodigy greater than that of Itachi, who was being called the next Madara Uchiha. Itachi had also sent him a message saying he won the Uchiha tournament last night with ease. Which meant he beat the clan head's daughter Satsuki. There wasn't much known about Naruto since he seemed to not like Itachi, therefore the spy was not able to grab any information on him. Hiruzen had asked Shisui to get some information on Naruto, but the information seemed to be lackluster and sloppy at best. It was things they already knew about. Danzo had said that Shisui was a traitor and siding with the Uchiha therefore needed to be killed for going against the Leaf. Hiruzen agreed with his old friend on some parts. He was also able to notice that Shisui seemed to not be completely faithful to the Leaf like Itachi was, and that could cause problems down the line. Maybe he would send some Anbu to spy on Shisui to make sure his loyalty was to the Leaf. He didn't like doing things like this, since he would have to kill him if he wanted to help the Uchihas in whatever plan they were cooking up. A peaceful man he was, and he would try to talk it out first like he had been doing with the clan head, Fugaku Uchiha. However, he always put their issues aside because there were other things he had to worry about of more importance than one clan being pushed outside the village. They should just accept it for the village's sake. I'll talk with Fugaku later. I need to see what the Raikage is talking about. The Hyuga really wants something done. I'll call in Hiashi today and see what we can do about this. Hiruzen blew out a ring of smoke from his pipe. He reached into his desk and pulled out an orange book and giggled pervertedly. He opened the page and started reading until he heard the glass break and his neck grabbed in a tight grip. Hiruzen was picked up and thrown with great force into the wall of the office. "Caught you with your pants down." The deadly tone of Naka came from the broken window. "What are you doing, Naka?" Hiruzen coughed out from inside the wall he was slammed into. The Anbu dropped down and rushed Naka without speaking and aimed to kill. Naka simply maneuvered around them all and killed them in an instant with his sword. Isn't it obvious? Naka swung his blade down ready to kill Hiruzen, but the old man managed to pull out a kunai and block, but found it increasingly hard to do so. Naka kicked the old man in the gut and gave him a jaw-shattering punch that sent him crashing outside into the streets of the village. Naka looked down on Hiruzen from the broken window. "I'm here to kill you." Naka blasted the Hokage with the full force of his kai and watched as if pushed down on Hiruzen like a giant boulder, while the regular civilians passed out along with the other ninja around the tower. "Why, you're making a mistake," Hiruzen said while summoning Enma and throwing off his Hokage robes. "We can talk this out. There is nothing else to talk about." Naka launched himself downwards while his Sharingan spun widely and his blood pumped in excitement of the deathmatch about to take place. Council meeting hours later. The council room was dead silent at the moment. Why? Because the third Hokage was in a weakened state. The god of shinobi was just in a deadly battle with Naka Uchiha, which left him heavily injured, but he was still able to pull through and only suffered deep cuts and broken bones. When the battle started, he was on the receiving end of the devastating power of Naka Uchiha. The battle lasted 3 hours and tore a good part of the village up, and many civilians were injured during the battle. The other ninja tried to jump in and help the Hokage, but it was no use because they were effortlessly swatted away. Hiruzen was pushed to limits he hadn't been in a while and was rusty, but once he got a hold of himself, he was able to use all of his experience and storage of jutsu and make a brutal comeback on Naka and in the end knocked him out. However, he did not come out of the battle untouched. Hiruzen's left arm was broken along with broken ribs with a bruised back. "Hiruzen, what the hell happened out there?" Kaharu shouted at Hiruzen, who was in bandages and small cuts on his face. "You saw what happened. The Uchihas have chosen their path. We shall take this chance to strike before they perform an all-out assault." Danzo spoke up with a hidden smirk. Things have gone much better than he expected. It was him who sent the rude Anbu after Naruto. He wanted to capture the boy and make him a loyal weapon. But this was also a good outcome. All that was left now was for him to persuade the council into believing the Uchihas were trying to take over the village. "But why did he attack you, Hokage-sama?" The clan head for the Nara asked, fully awake. This was something serious and no time to be sleeping. Because the Uchiha are traitors to the village. They have finally snapped and want to take over the village they think is theirs. Danzo said. I agree with Danzo, it seems as if they could no longer be contained and are now making moves. Choza Akimichi spoke in a serious tone not often heard by him. Yes, when one is pushed and put under pressure for as long as the Uchihas, the person would naturally snap. Inoichi spoke, referencing his mental studies. As someone who focused on the mind, he knew all about these kinds of situations. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go and round them all up. Tsume yelled and flexed her claws. I think we are missing something here. Shikaku interrupted before things got more troublesome than they already were becoming. Even if what you guys say has some truth to it, there is still no reason Naka would attack you so openly and as fiercely as he did. There has to be something that happened. Shikaku voiced, being the one to try and see things outside the box. That is logical, but the real question is, what was it? Shibi voiced after talking the whole situation over with his bugs. Danzo, seeing things were not going the way he wanted them to be, decided he would speak up once again. Does it really matter? They not only attacked the village, but the Hokage. That deserves death without question. That is true. Hiashi said with his emotionless face. Attacking the Hokage is a serious crime. There were times when the side branch members would feel ballsy and try to attack the main branch members. This would lead to their eventual execution. That was when the idea hit him. Why don't we perform a public execution? On the inside, Danzo was smirking like Christmas had come early. That is a perfect idea, it can serve as an example to the Uchiha to not challenge us again and also show the civilians that we are still in power and on top of things. That was when Hiruzen had enough. Silence. He blasted them all with his kai, making them all freeze in their movements and sweat to form on their foreheads. Even Danzo froze from the powerful kai. It seems this battle had awakened some of the power he had been holding back from being Hokage for years. Last time I checked, I was still a Hokage and I decided what would happen. And you see, this is exactly what the Uchihas were planning. If they killed you, they would no doubt launch a full-force attack on the village. Danzo got out through gritted teeth. Do you hear yourself? Why would they do something so stupid? Hiruzen let up on his kai, allowing the clan heads to breathe heavily. You're not seeing what's right in front of you. The civilians are in uproar, thinking a civil war is about to break out. If we perform this public execution, we will not only put the Uchihas in cheek but also put the civilians' heart at ease knowing we have won. He makes a good point, Hokage-sama. Hiashi took Danzo's side on this. Once he had the branch member killed that would step out of line, the others would also fall back in place. Let's take a vote. Danzo raised his hand as he spoke. If you wish to see Naka Uchiha put to death, raise your hands. Hiashi, Inoichi, Choza, Kaharu, Hamura, Tsume raised their hands. Then it shall be decided, come tomorrow, Naka Uchiha will be no more. Hiruzen glared at Danzo with clear anger. That will not happen. Oh, but it will, we have outvoted you, so there's nothing you can say. Danzo had to suppress a smirk at getting his way. Root HQ. We must take measures to avoid mayhem. Hiruzen knows that the Uchiha are planning a revolt, but yet does nothing. He is too soft. I hope this fight with Naka would wake him to the truth, but I guess not. Danzo spoke while looking towards Itachi. Itachi only stayed silent while he looked at Danzo, emotionless. He was merely thinking of the things that had happened today. Not only did Naruto almost die, but he, the Hokage, was in a deathmatch. In which case even Hiruzen, as a Hokage, will have no choice but to take drastic measures. The old man's tone was blank and gave nothing away. In which case the Uchiha will lock themselves into a fate of annihilation. Including your innocent little sister. Danzo stopped to allow his words and meaning to sink into the brain of Itachi, who only stared back blankly. I just want you to make a choice. Either align with the Uchiha, launch the coup d'etat and die with your clan, or side with the Leaf, save your younger sister before the coup d'etat and then help us eliminate all the Uchiha. Danzo closed his eyes and thought out his next words. Itachi, this will be the most painful mission for you, will you accept? It will allow your little sister to be spared. If you care about the village as much as I do. Itachi only walked off with his goal clear in his mind. He had been thinking of this for the past days and finally made up his mind with this last meeting with the elders. He just had to make a visit to the ghost of the Uchiha and maybe speak with his best friend Shisui. When Itachi made it to the forest, he summoned a crow and placed a message in its beak. It was a message telling his plan to Shisui, who would take the information and leave the village with his sister before it was too late. The crow left, leaving him alone in the forest to go speak to Madara Uchiha. Uchiha Hospital. Naruto was sitting in the bed while looking at the ceiling with an angry look. Not even angry, he was pissed off. His dad had gone to go and kill the Hokage and now he was being held captive. Why did his dad go and do something so stupid? He knew he couldn't beat the Hokage along with the other ninjas that no doubt helped Hiruzen in his battle. This is only setting the clan back and making the village more hateful towards us. Naruto sighed. When I get my hands on that old man, I'm gonna hit square in the jaw. Naruto proclaimed with a smile. A gust of wind blew Naruto's hair into his face and it revealed Shisui with a solemn face. Hey there kid. The boy walked over and took a seat next to Naruto. Hey Shisui. Here to examine my second tomo. Naruto flashed his red eyes towards the messy-haired boy. Still nothing compared to mine. Shisui showed Naruto his fully mature sharingan and smirked when Naruto turned his head and pouted. But on a more serious note, I've got some bad news. Shisui's tone was no longer juvenile and was stern, lacking no hint of joy. What is it? Naruto turned and gave the boy his full attention. Shisui reached into his pocket and pulled out the note Itachi had given him. Things have taken a turn for the worse and Itachi plans to kill the clan. Shisui didn't know that Itachi was now talking to Madara Uchiha about helping kill the clan with him. What kill the clan? Why would he do such a stupid thing? Naruto couldn't even comprehend what Itachi could be thinking. To do something like that was unspeakable and went against everything the Uchiha were. A clan that cherished family more than anything in this world. He says it is a mission from the village elders and council, all he asked was that his sister, Satsuki, be kept safe. Shisui said, holding his head down. There were better ways to handle this, and Naruto's idea to leave the village didn't seem like such a bad idea anymore. He had suggested to just use his mangyeko ability and convince the clan head to put a halt to all of this, but that would only delay the problem for a certain amount of time and cause them to still be wiped out. I always knew there was something funny with that guy, and this just proves it. To think he would take it this far. Naruto was in his bed shaking with rage while his new sharingan blazed with intensity. I want you to take my sister and leave with your family. Shisui said, causing Naruto to whip his head around. What are you saying? You want me to abandon everyone else and leave you here to die? No way, I can't, I won't. Naruto, listen to me, what are we going to do? He is going to come after us. Some of us will die and there is nothing you can do to change that. We leave. Naruto said simply. It says he is going to execute the plan tomorrow night and we will use that chance to get away. Shisui looked at Naruto with shock written all over his face. To think Naruto conviction would still hold true after all that has happened today. He felt as if Naruto was born to save the clan, a born leader, someone they could all turn to in a time of need like this. We will save everyone and create a new path for the Uchiha. Naruto said sternly and stubbornly. Make some clones and spread the message to everyone in the clan, our legacy will not fall. We've come too far to simply die out like those senju. A fire was lit ablaze in Naruto. The true will of fire. The will to succeed and overcome obstacles that intend to keep you from your goal. Saving everyone will surely not work, it is impossible. Shisui thought in sadness. Naruto was very mature, but he also still had a naivety that he would have to learn the hard way. You can't save everyone. Are there still those who wish to partake in this coup d'etat? Naruto questioned Shisui. Yes. Make sure you tell them to be ready for battle tomorrow. Why? They will be our defense in the escape. Naruto smirked at Shisui who looked on with confusion. What do you mean? Tell them we will be making an escape and they must kill Itachi who is the traitor to the clan and regroup with us once they have finished the job. Shisui widened his eyes. He doesn't know what he's doing. If he tells them to stay back they will no doubt become sacrifices for the rest of the clan's escape. Itachi is one of the strongest members of our clan and no one but his father, myself, Naori and Naka could have beat him. They won't stand a chance. Shisui wondered if he should tell Naruto this but then thought about the pros and cons. If he told Naruto he would most likely try and think of something else to try and keep everyone alive. If he didn't tell Naruto, the clan would be able to leave with a good portion of its members alive and nobody would ever know what happened. Shisui wondered if he should talk with Fugaku about this. That is when it hit him. If I speak with Fugaku about this plan, he could use the members who wanted to revolt against the village to cover us and not make it seem as if they had been abandoned and lied to. This way the Uchiha could still put up some damage against the village and keep Itachi off their backs while those who didn't want to do that could escape. You got me? Naruto asked while throwing a pillow towards Shisui who blocked it. Why yay, I got you. I'll go and get it done. Shisui stood up and threw the pillow into Naruto's face, knocking him on the bed from the force. You punk. Naruto ready to throw the pillow only to see the boy he was aiming at was now gone. I have got to get him to help train me in that. Naruto's future plans to have Shisui train him in body flicker was cut off when the door was slammed open and Mira along with his mother entered. Naruto-kun. Mira shouted and jumped on the bed and wrapped Naruto into a hug. Are you okay? I wanted to come early, but I was training and then big brother Shisui told me to stay inside because it wasn't safe. Yeah, I am alright and it's fine. I wouldn't want anything to happen to you. Naruto said and returned the hug much to the happiness of Mira, who was enjoying that Naruto returned the hug and wasn't trying to be a tough guy for once. Are you really okay, Naru-chan? I know today has been a busy day. His mother came in and placed a comforting hand on his midnight purple hair. I'll be fine, how are you? Mom. Naruto grabbed his mom's hand since Mira had released him from the hug. I'll be fine honey, thanks for asking. She pulled Naruto into her chest and gave him a tight hug. You just had me really worried today and not to mention your idiot father going off and attacking the Hokage of all people. Naori knew what that meant for her husband and had cried in this hospital room when she was alone and Naruto was asleep. Well, I do have a scar on my right side now though. Naruto told his mother, who felt sad that her son had to receive such scars at a young age. Don't worry Naruto-kun, next time I'll be there to protect you. I was having my brother teach me Kenjutsu. Mira gave Naruto a bright smile that made him blush a little, but he turned his head before he could be teased by his mother any further. However, it was too late and the damage was already done. Naru-chan, are you blushing? Naori asked in a teasing tone, causing Mira's eyes to widen. And no. He made the mistake of turning, showing his red cheeks. Mira's eyes widened in delight. You are. I knew you were a big softie. She began to nuzzle their faces together, causing Naori to laugh while Naruto tried to get her off of him. Just leave and let me rest. Naruto was able to get Mira off of him and pulled the covers and got under them and turned over. I'll sleep here with you. Mira got under the covers with Naruto and smiled. I'll keep you company. Great idea sweetie. Naori walked over and gave them both kisses on their foreheads. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you. Love you too. Mom. The door closed, leaving the smiling Mira and wide-eyed Naruto. Well, good night Naruto-kun. Mira wrapped her arms around Naruto and laid her head on his chest and closed her eyes, ready to sleep with a smile on her face. Naruto only let out a sigh and laid his head back on the pillow with a sigh. He would enjoy these moments while they lasted. Come tomorrow there would be no time for games. Next day. Naruto was at home, finally out of the hospital. His mother had come back to find Mira laying on his chest while he had an arm around her protectively. She teased them, saying they looked like a married couple, causing Mira to go red and run home, while Naruto only huffed and walked away, not giving his mother the satisfaction of seeing him blush. Naruto was finishing some moves with his two wooden swords. He was learning the two-sword style that his mother would use. The hardest part was using two swords at once since he was right-handed, and that meant he had to work with his left hand a bunch to make it just as good as its counterpart. Naruto performed a double thrust to the imaginary enemy. His body was occupied with training while his mind was on Madara's journal. He decided to pack everything of importance up and bring it with him. He was going to destroy the hideout to buy some more time for their escape. But what he learned in the journal was correct. Madara had said that the clan would be shunned by the village for past actions there for not being trusted. Hashirama was going to make Madara the Hokage, but due to the village being a democracy and not a dictatorship, the people voted for Hashirama. Madara tried to break the alliance and leave the village with his clan so they could form their own village so they wouldn't be shunned and forced to serve as lapdogs to a village that hated them. They called him a madman and a warmonger, but it was far from the truth. Madara would have formed an alliance with a Leaf village so peace could still last, but the Uchihas didn't want to believe in him. So he left. It was then that Madara came back with the 9 tails under his control. That is what really shocked Naruto. He had heard whispers around his dad being able to control the tailed beast, but to think it had some truth to it. Naruto had flipped through the pages for more information on the tailed beasts and found a definition by Madara. The tailed beasts are nothing but rampant beasts with power too much to handle. They are simply wild beasts looking for someone to help them with a purpose. Nothing but servants to those of visual prowess. They range from 1 to 9 tails, going from weak to strongest. 1-tailed sand raccoon. Uses sand and sealing jutsu comparable to a weaker uzumaki. 2-tailed hellcat. It is a cat made completely of blue fire and fast for its eyes. 3-tailed turtle with a thick shell to crack my Susanoo ripped right through that weak shell. It has a great water affinity and uses coral to fight. 4-tailed ape. It jumps around a lot and uses lava along with its great strength to smash things around. 5-tailed horse with a dolphin's head. The thing was an eyesore. It has 2 horns on its front head and kept ramming into my Susanoo and used steam to melt all the things around it. 6-tailed slug. It is pretty slow but has acid slime that could melt my imperfect Susanoo. It is also capable of releasing a poisonous gas similar to the 5 tails. 7-tailed beetle. It is a giant insect with 6 wings and a tail. Looks like an armored rhinoceros. Using its wings it can release an explosive and blinding powder. It also uses its horn to ram into things as well with the tailed beast's bombs. 8-tailed with an ox head and tentacles for tails. It uses ink-based attacks along with its amazing strength. Nine-tailed fox, it is the strongest biju. Its power makes the others look like babies using massive tailed beast bombs and fire attacks. Its chakra is almost infinite. Tailed beast equals peace. Once Naruto read that he was fascinated by the tailed beast and wished to meet them all. Surely creatures such as that are not simply mindless beasts like Madara labeled them as. Not to mention he said that the biju equal to peace. If that was the case, Naruto would go after the biju sometime down the line and form this peace Madara was talking about. How he would do that, Naruto had no idea. If he just captured them he would simply be like the first Hokage which collected all the biju. However, that was not peace and simply silent conflict which soon led to war by using the biju as weapons. If he did what Madara did and simply put them all under his control and used their power to cause war and destruction, that would only lead to a giant war which would be the complete opposite of what he wanted. Maybe if I try and speak with them, things will be different this time. Although I much rather fight first since I am sure I would have to prove my power to them in some way. Naruto jumped in the air and fell performing an X-shaped slash towards the imaginary enemy he was fighting. He then performed multiple spinning slashes and deflected the dozens of kunai coming towards him from a kunai launcher. His mind then wandered to the battle Madara had with Hashirama. It made no sense to Naruto. Why would Madara go back and destroy everything he had worked so hard for? Maybe there was some hidden meaning that everyone was missing. Naruto thought with clear confusion. Naruto. The mentioned boy was snapped from his thoughts when he heard his mother shout his name and run to him with tears in the corner of her eyes. Yes mom. Naruto relaxed and took a breather but was worried at why his mother was about to cry. Naori lifted up a paper with a shaking hand. She handed it to Naruto while holding her tears back. Naruto took the paper which was an urgent message that was sent to everyone in the village. Naruto took the paper and read it with a sinking feeling in his gut. His eyes scanned the paper and his bottom lip began to tremble. The wooden swords dropped to the ground as his black eyes flashed a deep crimson red. The public execution of Naka Uchiha in the village square in 2 hours. The paper read in big red letters with a picture of Naka beat up and in handcuffs with a seal over his eyes. His heart began to beat rapidly while drops of tears began to fall on the newspaper. The times he spent with his father began to flash inside his mind on replay. His breath became shallow and denial started to grow in his mind. Why, he isn't some war criminal or thug. He's my father. Naruto crumpled the paper up and let angry tears fall from his eyes. His dad was going to be killed and there was nothing he could do. Naori, seeing this, pulled Naruto into a tight hug and let silent tears fall from her eyes while her son cried into her shoulder. Naori's heart felt like it weighed a ton and her guilt was immeasurable. All over the village civilians and ninja alike received the same news. The reactions varied. The civilians cheered and began to toast to the death of a criminal and the cause of the Nine Tails attack. The ninjas shook their heads at the foolish Uchiha. It was a pity that they would lose such a strong ninja, but this is what happens when they get cocky, someone has to put them in their place. The Uchihas however felt a burning rage that they would kill one of their own and parade it like it was some festival. They could hear the cheers of the civilians all the way in the compound. The Uchihas were ready to march into that village and raise hell. They would have maybe attempted something if Yugaku didn't wait for them at the entrance to the compound with his mangyeko ablaze. He had moved them all to the Uchiha shrine so they could talk in private. He had received the message from Shisui last night and was surprised that Naruto came up with such a plan. Yugaku knew that with the execution of Naka today, that the clan members who wanted to start a revolt on the Leaf would have no problem laying their lives down for the members who wanted to escape. It was because of this event that they would allow their family and friends to escape if it meant they had to sacrifice their own lives for it. Perhaps that is why you did all of this, Naka. Did you know your death would cause a chain reaction and cause the clan to finally see the truth? That the Leaf is no place for us. Yugaku thought sadly while paying his respect to his old friend. You would have been a better clan head than I ever could, but perhaps your son will do a better job than the both of us. The clan head opened his eyes and looked over the Uchihas gathered in the shrine. You all know what the plan is. We will not fall today. He received nods from all the Uchihas who would partake in being the shield that allows the others to escape. They were resolute and would hope that their family made it out of this alive. 2 hours later, Leaf Square. The Leaf Square was packed with the whole village in attendance. It was mixed with civilians, ninjas, and even kids. Mainly the clan heirs along with kids from ninja families. Everyone was cheering in excitement for what was to come. On a large stage were the elders of the village along with the clan heads. It was then everyone saw the Hokage make his way to the front with a blank face, showing nothing to the crowd of people here to watch a man die. People of the Leaf, I bring you. Naka Uchiha. Hiruzen spoke out using chakra to make his voice echo across the square and over the cheers of his people. Duanbu walked out dragging the battered form of Naka Uchiha. The Uchihas in the crowd gasped at the condition of their clanmate. He had bruises all over his face and scratches with bandages wrapped around certain parts of his body. It seems like they felt like torturing him out of information before he was killed. Through all of this, Naka didn't say a word and remained silent. The Uchihas were furious and just wanted to launch the plan early and kill all these people who dare laugh at this situation. Their anger paled in comparison to Naruto's, however. The boy was just a ball of hate and the dark desires were slowly taking over his mind. His sharingan was spinning wildly and barely concealed Kai was pouring off the boy. Naka raised his head and looked over the crowd that was calling him names and damning him to hell. None of it mattered, however, though. He was looking for people who meant everything to him. My family. Naka spotted the beautiful purple hair of his wife and dark hair of his son. They were being surrounded by the clan in a protective manner. He smiled at the thoughtfulness of his clan. He would miss them, but hoped his sacrifice was not in vain. Naka saw his son's teary eyes and smiled lightly. Don't cry, son, your father has only one regret. And it's that I won't be able to see you grow into the splendid man I know you can be. Naka moved his vision to his wife, who also had tears in her eyes but still showed love towards him. My angel, my saving grace. I'll miss you just as much as I will our son and clan. You stuck with me when I was in that time of darkness and helped get me out. Just be there for our son. The Anbu pulled out their weapons and got ready to impale Naka through the heart and kill him in an instant. They just waited for Hiruzen, who had a sad gaze. The Hokage brought his hand down as the signal and looked away. Naka mouthed the words I love you to his family one last time with a smile on his face. Naori's tears then fell as she told Naka she loved him back, while Naruto's eyes began to burn and spin intensely. The swords pierced Naka's heart and he let out a final grunt before he collapsed face first with a smile on his face. The crowd cheered at having killed the traitor. Naruto began to cry tears of blood as his mangyeko was just awakened. He gained another tomo which quickly combined with the others, turning it into a black three-pointed pinwheel with a hole showing the red iris, while there was a black pupil in the middle. Naori saw her son's eyes begin to bleed and gasped when she saw his eyes change right in front of her. She knew what this meant and only hoped Naruto didn't fall to the curse of hatred, but if he did, she would help bring him out of it, just like she did with his now deceased father. She pulled out a rag and wiped his bloody tears and watched as her son fainted from everything that had happened. Naori caught him and just hugged his body, while Mira came and hugged them as well. Fugaku watched with sadness as his best friend's family mourned his death. He also saw that the young Mira seemed to awaken her sharingan with one tomo. After having no parents and being raised by her brother, spending so much time with Naori and Naka, she must have felt like her father had also passed. The man looked down to his daughter, who had a sad face. The girl felt horrible for Naruto and wished she could do something to help. His wife Mikoto sniffled a little and went over to comfort the grieving family. Fugaku then looked towards the stage where the dead body of his friend laid. He would not allow them to keep his body and possibly try and take his eyes. With his mind made up, Fugaku took to the roof and jumped until he was on the stage in front of his friend's body. What are you doing here, Uchiha? Here to finish what he started. Danzo questions angrily. I am just taking my friend's body, he will lay in the Uchiha compound. Fugaku dropped down and easily broke the cuffs and removed the seals on his body. Fugaku gently took Naka in his arms and was about to leave until he was surrounded. You won't be taking him anywhere. Kaharu shouted. We will take the body and run a proper scan over his body. You mean take his eyes? Fugaku said, with his own anger getting the better of him and letting his sharingan show. This man will rest in the embrace of his family, not some vultures like you. Uchiha members appeared around Fugaku ready to strike the Anbu if they were threatened. Fugaku left in a column of fire and was followed by the Uchihas, who left in body flickers. The clan had appeared over Naori, Mikoto, Naruto, and Mira. Let's give him a good resting place. Thank you, Fugaku-sama. Let's. With her words said, she picked Naruto up and held the hand of Mira, who was wiping away her tears while her sharingan deactivated. Shisui was on the roof overlooking everything while keeping his emotions in check, not allowing the tears he wanted to fall to be shown to the world. He was with his friend Itachi. It was then he spoke. Now do you see? We are clearly not welcomed. They only wish to see us dead. But we must protect the leaf. We are shinobi of the village hidden in the leaves, and as an Anbu captain, I will do my duty to the end. Itachi said emotionlessly. Shisui looked at Itachi with sadness. He just couldn't understand why his friend would want to protect people like this. Will you do that? Shisui got up and walked to the edge of the roof. I will not throw away my life for people like this. The messy-haired boy then left in his signature body flicker. Itachi just watched his friend leave and let a small frown tug on his lips. He only hoped that he took his advice and left this place before it was too late. Midnight. Are you all ready? Fugaku asked, looking at his clansmen who will be the distraction for the last time. Yes, we are. They all answered resolutely. He smiled proudly towards them. "I will see you on the other side." He gave them all a bow and left for his house and a body flicker to wait for his son. The Uchihas left the shrine and waited for Itachi to arrive. Outside Madara's hideout. "It's time," Naruto said, looking over the Uchihas who would be leaving the village. It was 70 in total. 50 of them were all ninja, while 10 were children and babies, and the other 10 Uchiha civilians. "Let's move out," Shisui quietly said and began to run through the forest with the Uchiha soldiers who would go ahead and make sure the path was clear. And like that, the Uchiha began to flee the village on a path straight for the Mist Village. Uchiha Gates. Itachi walked up to the gates in his Anbu gear with his sword drawn and ready to kill. "Let's get this over with." Itachi walked into the gates, but he wasn't expecting to be met with the hateful eyes of his clan. Madara's hideout. Naruto got a good distance away and activated all the paper bomb seals he had placed in the base. Having grabbed everything of importance, he felt there was no need to keep it standing anymore. Right when he was about to activate the seal, he saw a swirling vortex open and watched as someone in an orange mask and long hair appeared. Naruto activated his mangyeko to get a better look on the person. That was when he felt his eyes tingle and he unknowingly copied the ability of the man's sharingan. Naruto didn't know who this was, but if he knew about this place, then it was best if they didn't breathe anymore. So he finished his hand seal and watched as the place went up in explosions that would no doubt wake up the entire village. The strange thing however was that the person only phased through everything and was untouched, which shocked Naruto. "Naru-chan." He was pulled back to attention when his name was called. "Now that you blew that place up, the village will no doubt send ninjas to investigate, so we will have to pick up the pace." "Right. But I was looking for Fugaku-sama and his wife, but I didn't see them." Naruto looked over the Uchiha once again to see if he had just missed them. He couldn't even see their daughter, Satsuki. His heart then dropped. "Mom, where is Satsuki?" Naori looked confused and searched for the head family, but she didn't find them. "Oh no." Uchiha compound. Itachi was crouched on a street pole and covered in the blood of his clan. He looked around for who caused that giant explosion. That was when he saw his sister running back to the house in a panic. "Oh man. What is going on?" Satsuki said in panic while running back home. She was out training late and then she heard the explosion and ran back home. Itachi looked down on his sister with hidden sadness. He hated what he was going to do. Having found out that Shisui must have told the clan about what he was going to do and escaped with the rest. Itachi would not follow them since he would not be able to kill them anyways if Shisui was there. He then moved to his home, missing the look his sister cast to the street pole. Itachi's house. Itachi was in the dojo of his home with his blade shaking and tears falling from his eyes while he gritted his teeth in sadness. "Don't fear it, son, our pain will be over quickly compared to yours." Fugaku spoke sagely to his son while he held his wife's hand. "Just take care of your sister, Itachi-kun," Mikoto said, not showing how much this was tearing her apart. I will," Itachi said and cut his parents down and watched as their dying bodies fell on top of each other. Itachi fixed his crying face and got his emotions in cheek. He could feel his little sister coming. Satsuki opened the door with tears coming from her eyes. "Ani-chan. What happened? Who did this?" the girl cried, about to rush over. Until she was stopped by a kunai slicing her cheek. "Foolish little sister, isn't it obvious?" "I did it." Itachi spoke in a cold tone. What? Why would you do that?" she yelled angrily. "To test myself. I needed to see how strong I was." How could you do something like that?" "Like this." Itachi activated his newly awakened mangyeko he got from killing his parents and clan. He then looked his sister in the eyes and used Tsukiyomi to force her to watch him kill the clan. However, he didn't just make her watch. Itachi told her about the other half of the clan leaving her behind and that it was all her idol's fault. Naruto Uchiha. Satsuki screamed and this trauma forced her eyes to awaken into a one-tomo sharingan. The girl then fell to the ground after having watched her own brother kill her clan, along with being abandoned. Itachi left her with final words. "When you possess the same eyes as me." Itachi showed her his mangyeko. "You will get these once you have killed those who abandoned you. Come face me and avenge the clan." Itachi was going to have Satsuki kill those who escaped since there was no doubt in his mind that the others would want to strike back and destroy the leaf. Satsuki fell to the ground unconscious and Itachi left the house and went to check if Madara had kept his word. If the dead Uchiha police force was anything to go by, then he guessed it was a success. Outside of the leaf. Naruto was running through the forest with the rest of his clan. They had made it out the village undetected and it was looking like a clear path to the Mist Village. He was just worried about what would happen to the clan head's family. They would most likely die if they weren't dead already. Not to mention they forgot Satsuki. He wanted to go back and look for her, but that would only lead to him being captured or worse, and the clan members did not want that. Naruto just hoped that everything worked out and this would all lead to a better future. In the middle of the night a group of figures traveled in silence. The group was large and moved like trained soldiers sneaking into an enemy camp. They were dressed in black and blended in with the night like camouflage. How are we doing on time? We have been traveling for 3 days while counting the 4 times we stopped to allow our non-ninja rest. Are we getting close to our goal? We will reach Wave in a couple minutes where we can take a boat to the mist. The 2 people who were talking were Naori and Saito Uchiha, a former officer of the Uchiha police force. The man stood at 6 feet tall. Possessing a lean and fit frame, a long face with pronounced cheekbones and tear troughs. His eyes were piercing and coal black, with his short black hair slicked back, except for the 4 bangs over his forehead. Saito was considered the lone wolf of the Uchiha, not because he was an outcast or anything, but because he preferred to run solo missions and looked like a wolf with his fierce gaze. Okay, the Leaf no doubt has sent Anbu out to search for us in some hope of bringing us in or killing the last of us. Naori's voice was uncharacteristic, her normal soft tone was gone and replaced with a cold tone that could freeze hell. Naori spoke like this when she was in the wars and had to lead a group of ninja off into battle. I have come to the same conclusion. We have done a perfect job at covering our tracks. If they bring the Inyazuka, they might catch the smell of the babies, but by that time we will be in mist and the Leaf wouldn't dare go there since they refused to help the rebels. Saito said with a cruel smirk on his face. The man was a genius at hiding his emotions and followed the ninja code to the grave. A ninja should not allow his emotions to control them. However, he was an arrogant man. These characteristics did not restrict him from being a powerful ninja. Naori looked back and saw Naruto running a little back next to Mira and the other kids his age, leading them like some kind of messiah to the promised land which was the Mist Village. The boy had a calm gaze giving nothing away, face keeping his emotions concealed. But she could read her son like a book and knew he was troubled and hurting. There was no doubt a hurricane of emotions going on inside his brain. Next to him Naori could see Mira looking at Naruto with worry, it seemed the young girl also knew something was troubling Naruto. Mira was a great friend and she really appreciated that about her. The group then stopped when they arrived at a port which had multiple ships docked and people walking around trying to catch a boat. All we need to do is catch a boat to Wave and then another boat to the Mist Village and our goal will have been reached. Shisui told the group of Uchihas with a smile. They would have cheered out if it wasn't for it being nighttime and some being too tired for all of that. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get us a boat. Mira proclaimed happily. This was some of the best news they had gotten so far and the little girl couldn't suppress the smile on her face. Everyone smiled at the girl's contagious happiness. Even Naruto let a small smile graze his lips which was noticed by his mother and Mira. I'll go fetch us a boat. Saito said and left in a body flicker. This let the others relax until Saito returned with good news. Many sat down and let out happy sighs at everything going smoothly. Many had expected that they would be caught by the Anbu and killed or forced to return. Naruto sat down and leaned up against a tree. The boy let out a deep breath. Things were really tense for a few hours after leaving the village. He closed his eyes and relaxed, getting a few seconds of peace in mind. I'm tired. That was until Naruto felt something fall on his shoulder and opened his eyes to see Mira laying her head on his shoulder. The girl was wearing a black high-collared shirt which had long sleeves. Dark gray pants with black tape on her ankles and black ninja sandals. You can rest on the boat ride to Wave. Naruto told her and closed his eyes again in an attempt to meditate. He read that this could keep you calm and increase the balance of physical and spiritual chakra inside your body. The boy hoped to be able to use the yin and yang release in the future. If he could mix yin release in with his jinjutsu, that would place his jinjutsu level even above Madara and Itachi. The same could be said if he used yang chakra. It used physical energy so this could possibly make his punches hit harder and strength to rival Tsunade's Senju. If he covered his whole body in yang chakra, he could be almost indestructible, while also using yin release to cast unbreakable jinjutsu and slicing them to bits with his scythe. But I want to rest now. Mira whined like a baby while shaking his arm. Why are you acting like a baby? We have to stay focused right now. Naruto angrily told Mira while giving her a stern gaze. Annoyed that she was acting so carefree and childish in a situation like this. Mira pouted at Naruto being so mean to her. On the inside she was shocked that he would snap on her like that. His eyes were filled with anger towards her and not the usual calm and happy gaze he gave her. You don't have to be so mean to me and we are only 6. Mira rested her head on Naruto's shoulder with an angry pout on her face. Come on Naru-chan, don't be so mean to Mira-chan. Naori said and sat down next to Naruto and placed her head on his other shoulder. I won't get any peace of mind with you two around me. Naruto said, annoyed, but his heart felt a little lighter and a small part of the darkness in his heart was put to rest. Naruto would not allow the darkness to take over him, but he would not shy away from it or try and push it away. It was his own darkness and he would not fall to his own hatred. He was well aware of the curse of hatred that the clan always fell to. Naruto read over the notes left behind by Madara, along with the tales of his father and how Naka considered himself a bad person for what he had done in the past, even if he was forgiven by his wife and clan. "Yay, don't be so mean to me," Mira said and smiled happily with her head on Naruto's shoulder. Time went by and Naruto kept his eyes closed with a sense of peace in his heart. He was able to meditate while Mira had fallen asleep and his mother was just resting but still fully aware. "I am back with good news," Sato alerted everyone with his statement. This caused all of the Uchihas to wake and pay attention. "I have gotten a boat for all of us. It will only be us on the boat." Nobody asked how he managed to get a boat for just the Uchiha clan in the middle of the night. Most of them got the answer in only a matter of seconds. He used his sharingan and placed a genjutsu that made the boat captain do whatever they wanted. Everyone had gotten up from their seats or tree branches and started following Sato to the boat. Naruto shrugged his shoulders in an attempt to wake up Mira, but she was out like a light. "Mira-chan, we are leaving," Naruto said quietly to Mira, who only mumbled in her sleep. He sighed and picked the girl up in a bridal-style carry, causing the sleeping Mira to get a red tint to her face, but tried to hide it by turning her head into Naruto's chest. Her plan had gone to perfection. Naori, seeing this, giggled into her hand. She had made sure Naruto knew how to treat a lady. Her son would not be a dense fool like her husband. The thought of her now deceased husband made her frown just the slightest. They all made their way to the large boat that looked similar to a small yacht. Some marveled at the luxurious boat in front of them before snapping out of it and climbing into the boat. Everyone took seats and relaxed while others went out to guard the boat and keep everyone safe. Naruto went into one of the rooms and laid Mira down in the bed. He pulled the covers over her and walked out the room and under the light of the white moon. Naruto leaned on the rail of the boat and looked at the waves crashing against the side of the boat. Naruto activated his sharingan and gazed at the stars in the sky which twinkled and gleamed their holy light on him. Naruto pushed his Dojutsu further and looked into the reflection of the water and saw his 3 Tomo. Naruto pushed more chakra into his eyes and watched as his Tomos combined into a 3-pointed pinwheel. The pinwheel had a hole in the middle showing the blood red of his iris and black pupil. He really had it, the mangyeko sharingan. It was then the heavy weight of reality came crashing down on him. His dad was dead. Naka Uchiha didn't walk the earth anymore. Naruto couldn't go into his mother's room and see them cuddled up anymore. Naruto's vision filled up with tears and he began to cry. All the things he had been holding back finally came bursting out. He had killed and half of his family died to a traitor nonetheless. Naruto was then turned around and brought into a warm embrace. "It's okay, Naruto-chan." His mother hugged him tight while her own tears fell from her face. The sight of her only child in so much pain was just too much. Naruto clinged onto his mother like a lifeline and sobbed into her chest. It was comfort for both of them. Naori also needed this just as much as Naruto did. The mother and son just stood in each other's embrace. Naori pulled away and wiped the remaining tears from Naruto's eyes with her thumb and gave him a brilliant smile. "Mama's going to be here for you every step of the way, okay?" Naruto brought his hand up and wiped away his mother's tears, allowing her flawless pale skin to shine brightly under the moonlight. "I'll be here for you as well." Naruto did something he didn't really do and gave his mother a kiss on the forehead since she was crouched down. Naori smiled happily. "And I appreciate that." She then pulled Naruto inside to the bedroom where Mira was sleeping and left Naruto while she went into the bathroom to change. Naruto took off his black mantle showing his form-fitting white shirt underneath. He kicked off his ninja sandals and laid on the sofa with a blanket. The bed would be for his mother and friend. Naori came from the bathroom in a purple form-fitting shirt similar to Naruto. It hugged her generous bust perfectly while showing her slim and fit figure of a kunoichi. Naori had on mahogany thigh-high shorts. "Nari-chan, why are you on the sofa?" his mother asked with her hands on her hip. "So you and Mira can sleep in the bed." Naruto replied to the question while fixing his pillow and got ready to go to sleep. "Nope, you are going to sleep in that bed. But it won't be enough room with the 3 of us," Naruto complained. "It will be fine, just get in the bed. I don't want to hear you complaining about how your back hurts in the morning." He would have complained some more, but his mother gave him that look. So he got in the bed and like magic, Mira was on his arm. "Why is she such a wild sleeper?" Naruto said and tried to remove his arms, but Mira had a tight grip. "You were the same way when you were 4. If it stormed you wouldn't let go of my hand for the whole night." Naori laughed at the embarrassment on her son's face. "Did not," Naruto retorted. "If it helps you sleep at night." Naori then got in bed and wrapped the 2 kids up in her arms. "Sleep tight you two, and I love you." "Love you too." Naruto said and closed his eyes for a peaceful sleep in the embrace of his mother. Next morning. Leaf Council Chambers. Hiruzen, the body count for the Uchihas is not adding up. I think most of them escaped. Danzo told Hiruzen with a little worry hidden in his tone. Hiruzen blew out some smoke. That could cause a problem. No, it is a problem. Their clan was killed by their own up-and-coming prodigy. They no doubt realize Satsuki is still here. Choza said to the members of the council. They will come back and try to destroy our village or cause some kind of damage in the future. I know. Hiruzen said tiredly. Our Anbu have found nothing while the Inyazuka said they could smell the trail of babies. That is proof that some of them escaped. But we lost the trail somewhere on the borders of the Land of Fire. Tsum, the leader of the Inyazuka, spoke up, a little angry that those traitors got away. In her clan, if you abandoned the pack you were asking for death. What are we going to do about the last Uchiha? Hiashi questioned. I say you give her to me and allow me to make her a loyal leaf ninja. Danzo quickly said. No. Hiruzen shot that down with a clear and stern tone. The girl said that Itachi told her the clan abandoned her. She plans to eventually go and kill them along with her brother for leaving her to die. Inoichi said, bringing up some intense news. This girl could easily turn into a flight risk if we handled this wrong. What a drag, why don't we just give her what she needs while she is young, so that way in the future, she will keep us close to her heart. Shikaku said with a bored look on his face. That might work, our standing against the villages has no doubt dropped. We must keep her loyal and keep the sharingan in the leaf. Inoichi said with a smile. We will keep looking for the Uchihas and hope to bring them back as a form of repentance. Hiruzen said. Treat Satsuki with respect and kindness. Hiruzen ordered everyone in a steely tone of voice. He was looking at the ninja clan heads along with the civilian heads. Danzo would definitely keep looking for the Uchiha, even if they were no longer in the Land of Fire. Hiruzen underestimated their hatred. The Uchihas would not want to come back, they would rather burn the place down. If he found the clan, he would force them all in his root program and have a whole army of the strongest ninja clan. Water Country. The Uchihas were running through the misty forest of the Mist Village. Many were on edge in the unfamiliar territory. Many were just itching to pull out their weapons and slay whatever was in front of them. Naruto had his head on a swivel while his sharingan was activated. Even with his Dojutsu on, it was hard to see which limited the effect of his sharingan ability. This would also be a good training method though, since it could help his vision and not make him depend on his eyes along with the rest of his clan. Naruto had two standard katanas on his waist horizontally like his mother. He was not a master in the sword arts and still a novice if he was being honest. The story was different if he used his gun by and side. They were taken from Madara's hideout, so in a way they belonged to Madara, but he was dead and they weren't doing anything but collecting dust, so Madara would never see these weapons again. The group came to a quick stop when Naori held up her hand and stopped. They watched a woman look around with her black eyes. Naori pulled out one of her swords and got in a stance. She then spoke up. We have people closing in on us. The woman then deflected a hail of kunai with her sword with ease. Everyone pulled out their weapons and protected the kids and elderly. They were not fighters and must be protected since they were not capable of protecting themselves. Naruto looked around ready for anything. He pulled out one of his swords and got into the stance his mother had taught him. It was called the butterfly dance, and the two swords symbolized the two wings of a butterfly, which could be majestic and beautiful like a butterfly, but also deadly and sharp like a dance of death. Something shot towards Naruto at great speeds, the boy turned around and put up his sword to block, but would not be in time. It was a mist shinobi with a kunai in hand. The mist ninja's head was cut off in a quick slice. It revealed Sato Uchiha behind Naruto in his Iseki stance. His right back and holding his sword in a position that looked like he was about to lunge at his opponent. While his left hand rested on the tip of his blade and his black eyes sharp. Watch your back in this mist, it will be our greatest weakness along with our fire nature chakra. The mist ninja no doubt are well equipped with water techniques. Sato told Naruto while speaking loud enough for everyone to hear. But the death of their comrade being slain in front of them. The mist ninja jumped from the trees, revealing it to be 20 mist jounin and chunin. Their mist headband on their foreheads while their own swords were drawn and ready to spill blood. What are you doing in water country? One of the mist ninjas asked. Not like it mattered anyways, they had just killed a mist shinobi. None of your business. Naori told them coldly. If she revealed they were looking for the rebels it would only end bad for them and make things worse. It is our business when you kill one of our ninja. Another mist ninja said and lunged at Naori in an attempt to take the women out in a swift move. Naori's hair blew in the wind, allowing her milky white eye to show. This caused the mist ninja to freeze in his tracks and take a good look at the person in front of him. Why you are en Naruto Uchiha? The man's shout caused the other mist ninja to gasp in shock. They began to whisper among themselves about the one-eyed empress and what she was doing in water country. It was then they remembered she was an Uchiha, which meant she had a bloodline, which meant she was an evil devil. You are an Uchiha, and that must mean the rest of you guys are Uchihas. What are Uchihas doing out here? The mist shinobi asked multiple questions while their minds rambled on about possible reasons they could be here. Until a complete ludicrous idea came into their head. They were here to help those damn rebels. You are here for the rebels, right? The mist ninja received no answer to his question. This could either mean that they were here for that reason and just didn't want to say anything. Or they were just confused and had no idea what was going on. No matter, you die here. The same mist ninja charged back in with his sword ready to slice Naori down the middle. Naori, without even using her sharingan, predicted her opponent's movement using her many other battle experiences, easily sidestepped the attack and quickly went behind her opponent so he could not see her. The mist ninja looked around but didn't see her until his vision went black and his heart stopped beating. Naruto looked on with a little surprise at seeing his mother take a life. It was his first time seeing his mother actually fight to kill. Naruto did know his mother was in the Third War and won countless battles in her time. It was just different when seeing her actually do battle. It was then anger took hold of him at these mist ninjas trying to take his mother from him. Black eyes quickly turning red and mangyeko blazing, Naruto gave out an order in a cold tone. Kill them all. Naruto used surprising speed and rushed at a mist ninja who was not expecting the explosive speed from such a young child. The ninja paid for this and quickly felt a sword go through his heart and strange red eyes staring him down. With the young master's orders being given, the Uchihas who could fight quickly took out their weapons and got ready for battle and charged in to do battle, allowing their warrior blood to take over. Naruto, feeling incoming danger, looked to see angry mist ninjas coming down ready to pierce his body all over. His eyes tingled once again and the sword simply phased through his body and pierced the already dead mist ninja. Naruto, using their surprise to his advantage, quickly moved and stabbed the man in the heart. It seems he was able to use this ability on instincts alone right now. What was that? They simply phased through me. And what is this name, kamui? Must be the name of the move. Naruto thought about what just happened and made the fatal mistake of taking his eyes off the other ninja to gaze towards his bloody sword. The mist ninja went to capitalize on this and would have if it wasn't for his sword being blocked by another. It was Mira who was struggling with her blade against the stronger ninja. Then Naruto-kun, pay attention. Mira was being pushed back and the older shinobi managed to open up Mira's guard and left her wide open. The older shinobi went for a chest slash but had his blade interrupted once again by Naruto, who was using both of his swords. Making the ninja have to struggle against 3 swords. Mira stepped on the guy's foot, causing him to lose his footing and Naruto to slide one of his blades down the mist ninja's blade and land a slash on his abdomen. The mist ninja stammered back and grabbed his bleeding waist. You brats. I'll kill you for that. HMPH, you won't be breathing much longer. Worm. Naruto retorted in a cold tone of voice while his eyes gleamed like 2 shining jewels. Yay. Worm. Mira copied Naruto and readied her weapon for her first real battle. You really think you can beat me, a jounin? The 2 kids charged in without saying any words and weaved in and out in an attempt to confuse the jounin. Mira went for a slice but was blocked and Naruto appeared from behind and stabbed the man. Mira had her sharingan activated and the man, who turned into water. A water clone was a popular jutsu of the mist shinobi and was of no real surprise to the 2. Mira copied the jutsu but didn't use it since she didn't have the chakra for that. Naruto also saw the jutsu but did not attempt to use it since he had no use for it right now. Naruto turned and put his swords up in an X pattern to block the overhead slash meant to split him in the middle. Mira then appeared over Naruto and fell down with her sword ready to stab the man in the shoulder. Mira saw with her sharingan the man would be able to react to her, so she altered her sword swing from a stabbing movement and a slashing movement. Naruto also predicted the man would dodge, so he placed his foot behind the man's leg and caused him to lose balance, once again allowing Mira to gain a perfect slash along his chest. The blood splattered on the girl's face and she froze. Good job, Mira-chan, that was a clean cut. Naruto said next to her. He was expecting the girl to answer back with her usual boastful attitude. He received nothing and noticed that she was shaking and reaching up to feel the blood on her face. Mira. Snap out of it. Mira jumped from the shout and gripped her shaking blade. Sorry, I am good now. You kids are really getting on my nerves. The mist ninja went through hand signs and Naruto also went through hand signs to counteract the jutsu. Water style. Water bullet. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Bang. The 2 huge constructs of chakra connected with a loud crashing and immediately filled the area with a thick steam that already made it harder to see. Damn. Now we can barely see. Mira frantically looked around with her sharingan, attempting to find her enemy and ease her nerves. She was starting to freak out and the stress was getting to her. We need to try and stay calm, we won't be able to think straight if we are frantic. Naruto said in an attempt to calm his friend down. Alright. Mira said and calmed herself. The two were on guard and got back to back ready for anything. Naruto pushed Mira's head down while also ducking, evading a slash that was going to take their heads off. Mira rose up with a vertical slash at the mist ninja coming. He was able to block it and push the girl back, but Naruto was on him like white on rice, not allowing the man to rest. They traded blows causing sparks to fly from their blades and the dangerous dance of death to take place. Mira was feeling left out and joined in putting the odds in the favor of the two Uchiha kids who were caked in sweat at this point, with the battle starting to take its toll on them. Copy my moves, Mira-chan. Naruto took the lead and began to display great sword work for a novice. He was trying his absolute best to perform the first move of the butterfly dance. Mira used her sharingan to copy the moves of Naruto and mimicked him the best she could with her one-tomo sharingan. Naruto used his two swords and delivered quick slashes to his opponent. He took one step and jumped into the air while his swords were outstretched to his sides. Mira also took a step and jumped into the air and did the same things with her blades. Naruto then brought his swords and got ready to fall, but seemed to float in midair for a second. In a rapid series of slashes enhanced with chakra, Naruto fell to the ground and moved forward with elegance. Falling wings. Naruto whispered calmly and executed the technique. The mist ninja received cuts all over and glared down at Naruto with hatred. It was then he made a fatal mistake and locked eyes with the young boy. Naruto let a ruthless smirk cross his face and casted a paralyzing genjutsu on the man who froze. Mira did the same move that Naruto just did and performed the same slashes just to a less extinct, but it didn't matter as she had managed to cut the man's head off his body with her volley of slashes. Mira looked on with horror at what she just did and dropped to a knee and began to shake. Mira-chan. Not now, we have to finish this battle first. Save your tears. Naruto said and pulled the girl back to her feet. Some appeared behind Mira ready to slice the girl. Naruto was about to block the attack, but someone was faster than him and sliced the man's chest open with a flaming tanto. It was Shisui who had his mangyeko activated and walked over the screaming man who was grabbing his burning chest and screaming bloody murder. Shisui sliced the man's neck, putting an end to his screams. I had that handled, but thank you. Naruto said while getting on guard for the next attacker. No need to be ready, we finished the rest of them off. Shisui ruffled Naruto's hair and had a smirk as if he did not just kill someone in front of his sister. Naruto looked from his battle and saw that all the mist ninja were laying in a pool of their own blood. They had won and a sense of achievement filled his body at having won such a large-scale battle for the first time. He also felt better that his enemies were now laying dead at his feet and cursing him in the afterlife. They were nothing compared to us. Naruto said with a cold tone and look in his eyes. I like your style, young master. Sato said with a smirk of his own. You shouldn't let this go to your head. This was only a small unit and the battle ahead will be much tougher. Shisui told Naruto in a stern tone. Arrogance is a ninja's downfall. Not arrogance, it's just confidence in myself and us. Naruto said. Let's get moving on. We shouldn't stay here too long. Naori said and swung her sword, getting the blood off her blade before sheathing it. With her words being spoken, everyone collected themselves and began to run off on the misty road, leaving the bloody road behind. Naruto looked to see Mira on Shisui's back while she shook a little. He hoped his best friend would get over it. Naruto would be there to help her like she was for him. He couldn't bear to see his normally lively friend in such a sad state. Naruto ran alongside his mother at the front of the pack with serious faces. This was just the beginning and they would face many other struggles in the future. But even if the path became challenging, Naruto would not sway from the path. He would only savor the feeling of accomplishment he got at the end of the path. The Uchiha continued on their path. They had no idea where the rebel camp was but assumed it would be somewhere on the outskirts of the country since they didn't want to be caught. The group would have continued if it wasn't for a kunai landing in front of them along with someone else. Move no further. Move no further. The calm but commanding voice sounded from a man who looked to be in his mid-30s and landed in front of the Uchihas. Around them several other ninja landed and surrounded the Uchihas in a strategic manner. The ninja were wearing the standard striped gray suit of Mist Ninja. On top of this he was wearing a green kimono which possessed white trimmings on the front and went halfway down his body. The man's left eye was blue and the right was covered up by a black eye patch. There were talisman on each of his ears with the kanji for humble on it. Blue hair shaped upwards in a neat manner. Long time no see, ow the byakugan killer. Shisui said, stepping up with a taunting smirk. He remembered this guy well since he had ran away with his tail between his legs after he mind-fucked his comrades. Ao turned a glare towards the 15-year-old Uchiha in his vision. Shisui the teleporter. The blue-haired man growled out with hidden anger. You're a long way from home. Ao noticed that Shisui wasn't wearing a leaf headband, nor were any of the other people wearing headbands. Judging from how they all looked and were wearing similar clothes, he went out on a whim and guessed this was the Uchiha clan. But why was the Uchiha clan all the way in water country? Well, that's kind of the reason we are here. Shisui told Ao in a playful tone, hoping to ease the tension. What? You're not making any sense. Ao answered Shisui. What was he going on about looking for a home out here? Did they not know a war was going on in this country? What he is trying to say is. Naori chose this time to step forward with a kind smile. We would like to find some place to rest, as you can see. Naori motioned her hand towards everyone behind her, which revealed the tired kids and elderly. A place to rest? For what reason? You have a whole village to rest in. Ao proclaimed to them. He pulled out a katana that was on his waist and got into a ready stance, which was followed by the others. Naruto had enough and decided to speak up. You are in the way of our goal. You will move or be moved. Naruto's voice was indifferent and cold. There is no need to be friendly to your enemies. This was something he was taught by his father during training. So Naruto would not be friendly to these mist ninjas until he could trust them and safely call them comrades. And who are you, brat? Mind your place, the grown-ups are talking. Ao snarled towards Naruto. These young kids these days had no respect for their superiors. Naruto let out a cold HMPH and activated his mangyeko sharingan and casted an intense gaze towards Ao. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. Naruto pulled out his two katanas that were horizontally on his back like his mother. HMPH, arrogant brat. We have other matters to attend to than to babysit a dying clan. Kill them all. Ao ordered coldly and engaged in battle with Naori, whose gaze was hard and ruthless. Naori's vermilion-colored skirt bustled in the night air and she engaged in a fierce battle of kenjutsu with Ao, who was finding it increasingly hard to best the one-eyed empress. But he should have known better, this was the same woman who could defeat Kushina Uzumaki in an all-out battle and outperform the clan head of the Uchiha. Naori had also battled two Jinchuriki and came out of the battle alive and barely injured. Ao was simply not on her level, and he was finding that out the hard way if the bleeding slash on his chest was anything to go by. Stay on your toes, we must survive this battle. Naruto told everyone behind him before he quickly blocked an overhead strike from a mist ninja. Naruto would have countered if it wasn't for a blur appearing in front of him and chopping the ninja in the back of the neck. We will take care of the older ninja, just focus on the younger ninja with the rest of the young cats from the clan. Shisui ordered Naruto and all the other young warriors of the Uchiha. It was young genin, teenage shunin and 6 to 8-year-old kids. Why didn't you kill him? Naruto asked looking at the knocked out mist ninja. We have found who we needed. They will help us find the rebel camp. Shisui smirked and threw a kunai which deflected another kunai that was aimed for the elders being protected by other Uchiha. How so? Naruto asked in a crouch. Shisui smirked and then laughed. It seems you aren't all-knowing after all. He got an irritated look from Naruto. Alright, look at these guys' foreheads. Notice something missing? Naruto casted his eagle-like vision on the battling ninja and noticed they all were not wearing headbands. No mist forehead protectors. Correct. These are the rebels we are looking for, so leave them alive or that will only make things harder for us later. Shisui patted Naruto on the shoulder before he left in a body flicker which Naruto was able to track with the slightest of movement. It was thanks to his advanced sharingan. Victory is the only outcome for us. Mira shouted and boosted the morale of all the Uchiha fighting. She charged the mist ninja who were rushing towards them with clear signs of murder in their eyes. That's right, it is. Naruto said from her side calmly and firmly with a steely resolve in his eyes, along with the other young Uchiha who were following the two Uchihas in front of them. Naruto and Mira were the first to lock blades with the enemy in front of them. The others soon followed around them, but the two were focused on their opponents in front of them. You're in the way of our promised land, worm. Naruto voiced coldly to the 9-year-old boy in front of him. The boy Naruto was clashing with had short tuffy light blue hair and dark eyes. He was wearing square-rimmed glasses connected to a black ear protectors. A blue striped long-sleeve shirt along with white camo pants was the outfit of the boy. He was also wielding two blades just like Naruto. Sorry, it is not my intention. The boy's voice was soft and shy. He lacked self-confidence and it was obvious he was scared since he was shaking under the eagle-like gaze of Naruto. Then move. Naruto slid his blade along the glasses-wearing boy and got his blades free. He delivered a sharp kick to the boy's gut and sent him sliding across the ground. Bet it together, Chijuro. You'd better not lose. The girl Mira was facing shouted to Chijuro. This was a mistake and Mira capitalized and used surprising strength to push the girl's blade aside and attempt a thrust that was barely evaded by the blonde who suffered a small cut on her waist. Don't take your eyes off me. Mira said with a smirk at her small victory. Unton. Are you okay? Chijuro asked in a worried tone. Focus. We're going to kill these two. Bunten casted a wary glance towards the two Uchihas in front of her. Bunten was a girl the same age as Naruto and Mira, which was 6 with pale skin much like Mira. She had straight combed back blonde hair, blue-colored eyes, a beauty mark above the right of her upper lip. She is wearing a red pinstriped shirt tucked into black tight pants and wide ankle tape, along with black ninja sandals. "Remember Naruto, don't kill them," Mira reminded Naruto. "Don't worry, I didn't forget." Naruto rushed to meet Chijiro head-on with his blades gleaming in the moonlight while his once red eyes faded to black. He was going to battle with his regular eyes and would only activate his sharingan if his opponent was worthy enough, and right now, this boy was nothing to worry about. They clashed in the middle, and sparks flew from their blades before they brought the blades together again and again in intense and deadly strikes. Naruto was not trying to kill, and neither was Chijiro, but that did not mean they were holding back. Naruto switched his grip on his right sword and held it like a dagger and swung it upwards. Chijiro managed to narrowly dodge and only lost a couple of blue strands of hair. "As she said not to kill," Chijiro said shakily. "That doesn't mean I can't hurt you," Naruto told Chijiro cruelly. "And why are you so scared? You seem to not want to fight and lack confidence in yourself," Naruto noted with clear irritation. If this boy was a coward he had no reason to be on this battlefield. What? I am not," Chijiro said and gripped his blades. "A coward like you does not belong on this field, nor should they block my path." Naruto performed a leap and swung his blades down in a X motion. This was called crossing wings, and an attack he was able to pick up from the butterfly dance he was learning from his mother. Naruto fell like an avalanche off a mountain and connected with Chijiro's blades which shook violently and the ground under his feet cracked. By God, his attacks are heavy. I can feel my arms shake from the force of this kid's attack. He's only 6 but can attack with such strength. His physical frame must be crazy. Chijiro thought in admiration about Naruto's power. Chijiro managed to escape the blade struggle and brought up his blades in a whirlwind of slashes. Clank. Cling. Clang. This was the sound of Naruto matching the swings and slashes of the older ninja in a rapid succession. The area around them began to get littered with cuts and small tears on their clothes began to appear. Naruto's calm visage seemed to unnerve the timid Chijiro, he felt like the prey about to be killed by the predator. However, something inside of Chijiro began to stir and he felt the blood in his body began to flow faster and the sound of his heart pounding in his ears began to become overbearing. His scared face began to be covered by a determined young warrior. A shift in personality seemed to come as a shock to Naruto as he began to get overwhelmed and lose ground in the battle. Which he was just winning. What happened to him? He's different all of a sudden. In fluid sways of his body, Chijiro performed an attack. Crashing waves. Chijiro performed 6 quick slashes that crashed into the blades of Naruto like a tsunami. Naruto managed to block all of the attacks except one and suffered a cut on his right shoulder which sprouted blood like a fountain, causing Naruto to shout in pain. His shout alerted the battling Mira. The girl in black took her eyes off Bunten and looked at Naruto with worry. "Naruto-kun." Her opponent, Bunten, smirked and threw a kick which hit Mira in the head and sent the girl crashing into the ground. "Keep your eyes on me." Bunten mocked with a savage grin. "That's what you said, right?" Mira's shout alerted Naori who was calmly attacking Ao who was covered in shallow cuts and breathing heavily. The woman looked over to where the shout came from and saw Naruto on the ground gripping his shoulder. Her protective mother instincts kicked in and she would have dashed off to help her son but had to put up her blades and block Ao. "That must be your son, he's as good as dead," Ao told Naori in a calm but slightly arrogant manner. "That's Chijiro and he is one of the prized ninjas we have in our ranks. Your son is a goner." Naori casted a death glare towards Ao and turned to face him fully, she was going to finish this battle and get Ao to take them to their main camp. This battle has raged on long enough, injuries on both sides, and the Uchiha could not afford any deaths right now. When this is over, you will take us to your leader. Naori channeled chakra into her right hand and a pink skeleton hand began to form over it. Naori threw a jab at the speed of lighting towards Ao, who was struck and sent flying in a great explosion. Naori rushed after the one-eyed man in chase. Naruto rose from the ground. He took his hand off his shoulder and saw the blood. His heart began to pump and a fire lit ablaze in the pits of his soul. This is a real battle now. Naruto placed his swords back in their black sheath that rested horizontally on his lower back. "Have you given up?" Chijiro asked calmly and all signs of nervousness was gone. "Don't be foolish, the real fight starts now." Naruto pulled out 2 scrolls from his ninja pouch. He sent some chakra into it. A puff of smoke and out came 2 terrifying weapons. In Naruto's right hand was a scythe bigger than Naruto on a chain link connected to a white gunbai with red magatama marks. The blade of the scythe, which was a shiny silver, gleamed in a threatening manner. Naruto slammed the white gunbai on the ground and stood imposingly. Naruto's three-tomo sharingan flared to life, he had now deemed this ninja worthy and would give it his all. His black clothes fluttered in the night wind making his form look like a god of war who had descended from the heavens. Huddled together in the back were the elderly Uchiha. They were looking at the young form of Naruto. Do you see it? Yes, these old eyes see it clearly. That boy. He looks just like Lord Madara back in the day. The elders talked between each other. The way Naruto stood with his back straight and head held high and his two weapons on his side ready for battle. Naruto looked just like Madara Uchiha who had led them into intense battles just like this one with that same confident aura, as if there was nobody who could bring him down. But in their old bones, they felt the urge to take up their weapons again and assist the young Uchiha in battle. Naruto's courage was really inspiring and something to behold. But the elders were not the only ones to feel this way. The other Uchiha felt the shift in the night air and saw Naruto standing proudly. Naruto-sama, he's really an overbearing young man. I want to be just like brother Naruto. With young brother Naruto backing us, there is no way we will lose. Many Uchihas felt their blood stir and chakra rise to new heights. This was a battle they could not lose. Victory must be achieved. Just like Lord Madara, the skill to boost morale and spirits with little effort was something Lord Fugaku just didn't possess. Rather it be with his inspiring words that could get the laziest moving. Or whether he was flexing his monstrous power. Yes, but young Naruto seems to have all of that wrapped up in one. He will no doubt lead this clan to greatness. Victory is out of the question for you. Naruto told Chijuro firmly before he flickered out of view. Chijuro had cold sweat running down his forehead as he blocked an incoming overhead smash from the white fan of Naruto. He's stronger now and his chakra seems to have become more dense and intense. Once again Chijuro's mind was filled with positive thoughts about Naruto. He was really outstanding. Naruto brought his scythe up from the side and easily knocked away the two blades Chijuro had. Naruto did a thrust and folded Chijuro over the gunbai before Naruto swung the fan into a tree, sending the blue-haired boy crashing into the tree. Chijuro did not have time to think as Naruto appeared and swung the scythe and cut the tree clean in half. That could have killed me. Chijuro thought in panic before his blades were enveloped in a blue glow and he thrusted them towards Naruto and watched as multiple arrows made from water were launched towards Naruto. This was launching bows, a C-rank water ninjutsu. Naruto released a cold HMPH and simply held the gunbai in his hand and watched as a white glow covered the gunbai and it began to hum from the power chakra of Naruto. When the arrows connected with the fan, the gunbai glowed brighter before Naruto placed his palm on the back of it and pushed it forward. Uchiha reflection. Naruto said calmly before the arrows were blown back towards Chijuro with twice the power and force. Chijuro was engulfed in the explosion caused by his own attack and blown back with great speed. He landed on the ground several meters away and coughed up blood. His clothes were now bloody and his body littered with cuts and his ear protectors fell to the ground in pieces. What was that? That is a secret skill of the Uchiha clan. The indifferent voice of Naruto made its way to his ears. The short form of Naruto stood over him as Naruto had the gunbai raised over Chijuro and his three-tomo sharingan looked down on him. I won in the end just like I said I would. Chijuro. You fool, how did you lose to this punk? Bunten yelled in anger at the injured boy. Mira, hurry up and finish her. Naruto said calmly. Oh. You think this girl can beat me? After I am done with her, I'll come and cut you to bits. Bunten shouted aggressively. A lot of bark but no bite. Naruto turned his back to them and jumped off to help the others who might need it. There was no need to worry about Chijuro since he had passed out and won't be going anywhere. I already hate that guy. Bunten gritted her teeth in anger. Mira laughed at Bunten. She really understood how Bunten felt since many other kids suffered the same fate when they would speak with Naruto. If he didn't like you then it was like talking to a brick wall. You get used to it. Naruto is not the most sociable person. He won't be socializing with anyone once I am done with him. Bunten went through hand signs and yellow lighting sparked to life before it took the form of three balls that flowed around her. Lightning balls. Whoa. Mira shouted and leaped out the way of a lighting ball. You're done for now. Bunten threw her hands forward with mad laughter and watched with glee as the lighting balls connected with the position Mira was standing. Now where is that other Uchiha? Before Bunten could jump off in search of Naruto, she felt cold metal on her neck. No more wiggle room for you, worm. Mira said in a tone similar to Naruto. Being surrounded by battle and seeing the deaths of others began to change the girl and make the once naive and innocent girl much more awake to reality and the ninja lifestyle. What Bunten thought she blew up was only a false truth, a simple genjutsu. Bunten had sweat run down her forehead and her legs shake from fear. She began to panic and wonder if she was going to die. You'll never be anything in life. The harsh and uncaring words of her mother came to the front of her mind once again. At home her mother was harsh and did not love her at all. Saying she ruined her life and would be nothing just like her father. Am I going to die? Like this, and nobody? Relax, I'm not going to kill you. I did say no killing, remember? Mira said and patted the blonde on the back. What? Bunton stuttered out in shock. I'm not going to kill you, go and help your friend. He needs it. Mira walked off before she turned around and gave Bunton a confident smile. It's been fun, Bunton-chan, I'll see you around. Mira jumped off to help the others. Bunton looked at where Mira left, confused. That was the first time she had been called Chan. It felt strangely good. This feeling was strange to her and now was not the time for it. This was something to ask her dad about if she ever got to see him. Ink flames at the feet of Naori began to simmer down and her chakra became calm once again. It's over now. Take us to your leader. Naori ordered Ao, who was on the ground shaking. What was that monster just now? Its power was out of this world. And how did nobody see that? She must have casted some wide-range ninjutsu. Damn, she is really living up to her S rank. Ao thought while on the ground bleeding. If someone like Naori helped them in their civil war, they could turn the tides in this war of theirs. That boy, he will truly become something terrifying in the future. He beat Chijiro, who is a Kenjutsu genius. With his final thoughts, Ao resolved to take them to their leader. Naori pushed the bottom of her sword on the neck of Ao in a threatening manner. Well. Naori said expectedly. Okay, I'll take you guys. Ao breathed out. Things did not go the way he wanted them to, and his battalion was defeated. Great. Let's get moving right now. Naori put her sword on her back and walked away happily. Everyone stand down. Ao shouted to the rest of his comrades who were fighting. We will be going to base with these Uchiha. Ao staggered to his feet and stood on shaky legs. The mist rebels lowered their weapons and chakra. Still looking at the Uchiha with suspicion and had their weapons ready just in case. HMPH, consider yourself lucky, witch. Saito lowered his stance as his gleaming red eyes became black. His high-collared shirt was a mess and blood was splattered all over the ground surrounding the two. In his mouth he could still taste the blood. Ha! You're the lucky one, if I had my babies with me you'd be a fried corpse. Amaeri Ringo lowered her to blades. If she had the Kiba blades this little war would have a different outcome. Amari was a 15-year-old teen, rather short with long red hair and black eyes. On the side of her head were red hair bands. This allowed two parts of her hair to be pointed upwards like horns on the side of her head, while the rest just flowed down her back. For clothes, Amaeri was wearing a loose tan striped kimono that was open, revealing some of her chest. Black pants that became looser towards the bottom. Her teeth were jagged like the 7 ninja swordsmen. She had on navy blue leg warmers and ninja sandals of the same color. You think just because you're in the 7 ninja swordsmen I'd be afraid of you? Saito asked in a mocking tone. Those 7 ninja swordsmen were nothing to the might of the Uchiha. Well, at least the ones that are with the rebels and not dead. Well, okay, tough guy, why don't we spar again when I get my blades from the shop? Unless you're scared. Amaeri expressed with clear amusement and bloodthirsty, while those sharp teeth were stretched out in a grin. HMPH, little brat. You'd need to train for 100 years to challenge me. Saito gave the teen his back and walked away without saying anything and only pulled out a cigarette and began to smoke. Those cancer sticks are going to kill you before I do. Amaeri put her hand above her nose and walked next to Saito. You want one? Yay. The teen began to spit it out a second later and downed a whole bottle of water. Saito just chuckled at the amusing teen beside him. Newbies always reacted like that. Naruto dropped to a knee and began to pant heavily. He deactivated his eyes and sealed his weapons back up. Naruto then felt something on his shoulder ache. It was the cut on his shoulder leaking blood. That Chijiro really got him good with that one. It was then the feeling of pain on his shoulder began to go away and a green light blinded his vision. Don't worry, the cut was deep and will only leave a scar. The girl looked to be 15, the same age as Itachi. Long brown hair and a ponytail with a beauty mark under her right eye. She wore a sleeveless high-collar purple shirt and the clan symbol on the back. Baggy blue pants that stopped at her knees and ninja sandals. Naruto looked back to see Izumi Uchiha, the now ex-girlfriend of Itachi Uchiha. Thank you. Naruto stood to his feet feeling much better after getting that wound closed up. That marked the second scar on his body now at such a young age. No problem, we've all got each other's back. Izumi smiled in reference to the clan looking out for each other. Naruto nodded with a smile. Yes, it is necessary that we look out for each other at times like these. We are family after all. The young boy in black nodded in appreciation one last time before walking off to help the others. The young master is remarkable, isn't he? Saito came and patted Izumi's shoulder. She was looking at Naruto's back with a sad smile. Young master? Is he you folks' clan heir or something? Amaeri asked with a raised eyebrow. Might as well be, our other clan heir is a bastard and the one after that one is in enemy territory right now. Saito said and laughed. Wow, you guys are a shit show. Amayuri laughed along with Sato, while Izumi got a sweat drop. Naruto stumbled and almost fell but was caught by his best friend. Mira-chan. I've got you. Mira put Naruto's arm over her shoulder and began to walk off while supporting Naruto. Thanks Mira, I can always count on you. Naruto said with a grateful smile towards Mira who was always there for him. You've got that right. Mira gave a triumphant grin. Naruto's mother then landed in front of them with a smile on her face. Good job you two, I'm so proud of you. It's to be expected when you're as cool as I am. Mira said with a puffed out chest. Way to be modest. Naruto deadpanned at Mira. You're one to talk. Naori pointed out her son. After what you said to Ao, where did you even learn to say something like that? The woman questioned her son with an amused face. It just came to me. Naruto answered the question with a shrug but soon regretted it as he moaned in pain. It doesn't matter, we can talk more later. Naori said in worry and gently took Naruto away from Mira. So they are taking us to their camp? Mira asked with clear hope in her eyes. She was getting tired of sleeping outside and constantly on high alert. Yes, Ao is leading everyone away now. This earned an audible sigh from Mira. Naori's words were like a hot shower after a long day of training. That's good, but we aren't out the clear yet. Naruto said. Yes, Naruto-kun is right, make sure you are still alert and checking for any kinds of traps. Naori told the kids and anyone who could hear them. Right, I'll take point. Mira walked in front of them and began to walk with her hand on the blade at her waist while her head was on a swivel. Alright everyone. We're moving out. Ao yelled to everyone in the field. It was time to move before the loyal Miss Ninja showed up and did some searching. With Ao's orders being ordered, everyone rounded up together and began to follow Ao, who was leading everyone in the front. They simply walked at a fast pace since many were injured in this little skirmish. After several hours of silently traveling through the thick mist and moist climate, the group seemed to finally be making it somewhere if the relieved sighs of the rebels was anything to go by. Naruto noticed a key feature in this mist right now though. The mist is much thicker here, my already limited vision is even less. Naruto moved his hand in front of him searching for something. His hand was then grabbed and squeezed in a comforting gesture. Naori's beautiful face managed to pierce through the fog. Don't worry, I've got you Naru-chan. How did she know exactly where I was? Her vision must be crazy or she just sensed my chakra. The powers of his mother were really starting to throw his brain for a loop. The time Naori said she was stronger than his father Naka was starting to look more and more true at every moment. That also brought up the question. How strong was his father? We've made it. Ao's austere tone of voice made its way to everyone's ears. Naruto looked up and watched as the mist cleared up to a certain degree. There was a massive construct in the middle with two guards standing at attention. It was two thick walls that sat to the right and left, in the middle was a hole big enough for two squads of 4 ninja to rush through. Halt. A guard stepped out in front of them. Captain Ao returning from a border patrol. We picked up these people on our way back. And who are they? Uchihas. Naruto watched the two indulge themselves in conversation about his clan. By the guard's shocked face, he could guess Ao just told them they would be going to talk to their leader. The guard obviously didn't trust them if the heated glares he was sending was anything to go by. If you say so, Captain. Ao nodded in appreciation. Let's go, our leader is over here. Ao walked inside past the guards and moved through the mist like a pro. The rebels who were next to them all began to disappear. Now that their mission was over, there was no reason for them to still hang around. In front of Naruto, the mist cleared and he could now see everything in front of him. He looked down to see he was walking on a brick path. To his left there were all kinds of plants lined up in an organized manner. It seems they have been at this place for a long time if the height of the plants were anything to go by. Scattered through the plants were small windmills and spinning generators. Even at night time, people were still out managing these crops. There was even a small pin for the animals. Naruto released his mother's hand and saw her give him a pout. He would not be seen holding his mom's hand in front of all these ninja. It was too late for that, as Bunten was pointing at him and had a hand covering her mouth with a red face from holding in her laughter. Naruto paid her no mind and kept walking. Why was this blonde even following them? To his left was a bar and an area with seats and tables with people all around it. Naruto could see ninjas and regular civilians. Seems to be one of the cafeterias in this camp. On the brick path were different drawings and boxes with numbers in them. This was hopscotch and chalk drawings. There were many different buildings and tents all over the place, and Naruto was only seeing the ones up front. They came to a cross-section on the path that split into 5 different directions in the shape of a pentagon. In the middle of the shape was a big tree with potted plants, drawings, and decorations all over it. It was like a giant board to stick things to, but made of wood and a tree. While walking, the clan of Uchiha got many weird glances from everyone. Some casted worry glances like the ninja and old folk. While the regular civilians just passed them off or drunken ninjas just toasted to them. They all made it to a sturdy-looking building with multiple ninja posted outside. There were even some on the roof and hiding in the surrounding area. Ao knocked on the door and watched as a part of the peephole slide open. "What is it?" A gruff voice sounded from the other side, and black eyes could be seen. "It's me, Ao. I am here to speak with the leader." Ao stepped out of the way so the man behind the door could see the Uchiha. "Oh, a group." The hole closed and several locks could be heard being undone. The door opened to reveal the tall and muscled form of a man. He possessed black hair that spiked out backwards. There was a long scar over his left eye, pronounced cheekbones and pronounced hairless brow ridges. He wore an open white haori that looked like it had seen better days. He was wearing no shirt which allowed his bare chest to be revealed to the world, along with his many scars. Along his midsection were white bandages tucked into black baggy pants and tan waraji and sock. On his waist was a beaded nadachi with a long shape like a serrate by cone. "Thanks Kenpachi." "No problem, now let's go see the boss. I am curious as to how things will play out." Kenpachi said in glee while looking at the Uchihas until someone caught his vision. "Sato. Is that you?" Kenpachi walked into the group and got a better look at the policeman. "It's been a long time Kenpachi, I see you're still as savage as ever." Sato said with his black eyes looking more brutal than ever. "You're one to talk, you manslayer." Kenpachi met Sato's hand in a firm grip with a savage grin. "Please stop bringing up my past." Sato waved Kenpachi off with a small smirk on his lips. "Come on, I'll introduce you to our leader." Kenpachi put an arm around the man's shoulder and walked him down a corridor and soon down some steps. "Wow, he knows Kenpachi Zaraki, the first Kenpachi." Amayuri said in awe of Sato. "Who's that?" Mira asked wanting to know the savage-looking man. "He's called the first Kenpachi. This means he can't be killed." Amayuri enlightened all the Uchihas. "HMPH, if you aim for the head he'd die in an instant." Naruto said not buying into the whole folktale. "It's not a folktale brat." Amayuri yelled and got all in his personal space. "You don't think people haven't tried to cut his head off? They never get the chance because he ends up killing them." "Whoa, he sounds super strong." Mira said in awe. "Let's go, I am sure you will learn more about him later." Ao said and put everyone back on track. "Right, I am interested in learning who leads this very organized camp," Naori said with a respectful tone. They followed the path Kenpachi took and walked down the hallway. A flight of stairs that led downwards came and the group quickly walked down and could hear the sound of talking. A doorway appeared and they could all see a spacious area with several boards with maps on them. They had sticky notes along with red threads and kunai jammed into pictures of people. The long table sat in the middle and chairs were on the side of the table. Some were occupied while others were empty. Filing cabinets were all stacked up in a neat manner. "This is my pal Sato. He's the one that gave me this scar over my face. He was really trying to kill me." Kenpachi said in an excited tone while laughing loudly. "Lady May, I have returned. Took you long enough, I was starting to think you had died." An uncaring voice sounded from the table. It was a girl in her late teens, looking to be 18. She was slender and beautiful, possessing long light blue hair and eyes. She was wearing an all-white general's apparel that was opened at the front, letting her generous bust to breath, with long sleeves and buttons on her arms. There was a blue choker on her neck and was wearing high-heeled boots. She was the current leader of the remaining Yuki clan, which was her and some other boy who was currently missing. Leaning next to her was a weapon Naruto had never seen and only heard of in books. It was a rapier sword that was great in length and shined in deluxe silver. The handle was wrapped in a soft white leather. "Back in my day, kids like you respected their superiors," Ao said with a tick mark on his head. "These kids just kept getting more and more disrespectful." "Let the man be, he seemed to have run into trouble," the other teen said, gesturing to the Uchihas. "Whatever Harable." Esdeath rolled her eyes at the busty blonde being correct. Here Harable was a teen the same age as Esdeath. She has caramel skin, aqua green eyes, thick eyelashes, and short messy golden blonde hair, with 3 braided locks. Tia is wearing a white high-collared jacket that covers the lower half of her face, only revealing her eyes, and the 3 blue marks that look like fish gills under each one of her eyes. The jacket has a zipper running all the way down and keeping her large breast at bay. For pants she wore what looked like the bottoms, she wore a white version of a shihakusho and left all of her midsection and sides exposed. On the collar there are 2 beige air filters on the side allowing her to breathe. The jacket completely envelopes her arms ending in black gloves that seem to be attached to the sleeves, with the hand being white and the fingers black. Here was the current clan head of the Hoshigaki clan, which was only her. Leaning on the chair in arm's reach was her sword. It's unusually wide and has the distinction of being completely hollow in the middle, essentially consisting of nothing more than the edges of what would otherwise be a normal sword. Its handle is purple and its guard is as wide as its blade, with 3 small holes on either end, which Harable uses to unsheath it. The sword is longer than its sheath and is worn horizontally on her upper back. Yes, Lady May. Ao turned to a tall and slender woman with fair skin. She has green eyes and ankle-length auburn hair styled into a herringbone pattern at the back, a top knot tied with a dark blue band and with 4 bangs at the front. 2 bangs are shorter than the rest, with one covering her right eye and 2 are long, crossing each other on her bust, just below her chin. Mai Terumi is wearing a blue kimono that goes to her upper thighs and stops above her knees and is tied by a black band. The kimono is open, revealing a generous amount of cleavage. Kimono had a split on the side, revealing the mesh shorts underneath that was covered by the blue kimono. On her knees were fishnet sleeves with blue trimming. On her feet were black ninja sandals and painted blue toenails. Well done, Ao, you can go rest now, I can see you've had a long night. The woman said in a humane and gentle voice with an eye smile. You're too kind. Ao bowed and was about to walk away until he got a question from his leader. Where is young Chijiro-kun? May remembered Ao saying he would bring the boy to the next briefing since he would become a future leader. He was defeated and needed medical attention. Ao responded. Really? By who? May asked in a curious tone. Whoever defeated that boy must have been a skilled older ninja who had seen many battles. You're gonna wanna pay attention to this part. Sato whispered into Kenpachi's ear with a grin. The spiky-haired man did as his friend said and watched closely. This kid right here. Shisui said and pushed Naruto out in front of everyone. The boy stumbled for a second before he straightened up from the intense gazes of the older and stronger ninja in the room. Naruto began to feel nervous under the gaze of such powerful ninja, combined with everyone in the room. Sweat formed on his brow before he got his emotions under control and raised his head in a confident way. That's right. Naruto Uchiha defeated him. You're joking, no way this brat beat Chijiro. Esdeath didn't know if Ao was pulling one of his old people jokes because if so it wasn't funny. She had seen Chijiro fight before and a timid boy he may be, but when he got serious it was lights out for the enemy. I can show you if that will help you understand better. Naruto said with a dark smirk crossing his lips. To add on to his intimidating appearance, Naruto activated his 3-tomo sharingan. He's gotten much darker in such a short amount of time, but this darkness in his heart does not seem to be overwhelming. As mature as he is, my son is still a child, so the damage can easily be minimized. Naori thought in concern for her son who was becoming a rather cruel individual. He had given orders to kill a bunch of people at only 6 and is willing to kill at any time. This was a real cause for concern. This kind of upbringing will have lasting effects on him and might scar him for life, causing Naruto to be a broken mess. However, a part of her was proud that Naruto seemed to be handling everything and still trucking on. He just needed to stay strong when things got worse. Oh wow, did he just threaten her? I like this kid already. Kenpachi said with a grin and was itching to find out how Naruto did it. DCH, cocky brat. I'll shatter you into a million pieces. Esdeath retorted with her own cruel smirk and death glare, enhanced by her murderous intent. Naruto slowly reached into his ninja pouch behind him and pulled out 2 scrolls. He sent chakra into them and in a puff of smoke, his scythe and gunbai came out. May's interest only peaked at what she was seeing. This boy with midnight-colored hair that was spiky and hung down his face with 2 bangs on the side of his head. His gaze was sharp and intense, downright murderous at the moment. His fully evolved sharingan spoke highly of his strength and also the pain it took to reach it. His black high-collared mantle was stained with blood and possessed scratches, proof of his battles that took place to get here. Those weapons looked too big for him, but that did not seem to slow Naruto down, as he was ready to jump in battle, no doubt how scared he must be at this moment. It was true, Naruto was definitely a little scared right now. He could not defeat this woman in front of him. But he was not shaking with fear because he knew his clan was behind him. Plus, he did not come here to fight the people whose help he needed. That's enough, Esdeath. May ordered calmly and sternly. Esdeath let up on her gaze and folded her arms under her generous bust. You got lucky, brat, next time you might not be so lucky. HMPH, you can't reach me at all. Naruto said in a cold but mocking tone. He was really talking a big game right now and he knew if it came to it there would be no way he could back it up. But Naruto was a brave individual. Ha! He sure showed you, Esdeath. Kenpachi laughed out. Hey kid. If you still want to, you can show me. Kenpachi said with a grin on his face. Whoa there, don't jump the gun. Sato put a hand on Kenpachi's broad shoulder. The young master has a long way to go before he fights you. Young master? Are you the clan heir? May asked curiously towards Naruto. The boy turned around and faced the clan with a question all on his face. What were they going to say? The actual clan heir was still in the Leaf Village. Yes. He got a nod from one of the male members. Yes. Another man said. You got it, Naruto-sama. A female Uchiha said. Everyone else in the clan began to nod in agreement and encouragement. In their eyes, Naruto was the perfect fit. If it wasn't for Naruto, they would not be here at the moment and probably 6 feet under. It was then an elder of the clan stepped up. His name was Uchiha. This young man is the next in line to become the leader of the Uchiha, while his mother, Naruto Uchiha, is the current head. Naruto was shocked and deeply touched that the clan would want him as the heir. His plan had all worked out, and although it was a little bumpy on the road to get here, he still arrived at his destination. He smiled with joy and firmly nodded his head. It was then that an image of Satsuki came into his head. She was the true heir, but due to being in the leaf, there was no way Satsuki could become the clan heir. Naruto had already vowed to one day rescue her from the clutches of the leaf and back with her family. But how would she react to being denounced? Those were thoughts for a different time, because now he had to focus on what was going on now. Wasn't Fugaku the clan head and his wife Mikoto the matriarch? Mei leaned on the table with her hands clasped in front of her. Things were not adding up. This boy and mother were just named clan head and heir right in front of her. But what happened to the head family? She needed answer. Well, it's a long story and I will tell you everything. Naruto said with a sad smile and heavy heart. The Mist Ninja noticed the angry faces and sorrowful gazes of the Uchiha. The aura of the room suddenly became depressing and heavy. Start from the beginning. You have made it this far and no doubt have some kind of goal in mind. I need to know the full circumstances of your situation. Mei said and leaned back, getting comfortable. Mei was smart and was already able to conclude that the head family is either dead or staying in the leaf right now. But whether it was by choice or force was the real question. Right, I'll tell you everything. Naruto said and began to tell the ninjas in the room the tragic tale of her clan and how they ended up where they are now. Like Naruto said, the tale was long and detailed. The Mist rebels sat at the table with baffled expressions. It was a long and twisted story indeed. A tragic tale of a clan that once had it all but was now runaways looking for a home. Now I'm kind of glad the leaf didn't help us. Haribel's emotionless voice sounded. The woman was glad such traitors were not helping them. Yes, now tell me. Mei leaned in and portrayed an imposing image. Here it comes. Sato said with a grin to Kenpachi. The ones who shall guide you are the Uchiha. Naruto activated his mangyeko sharingan and gently held his hands out in a grand manner, allowing his clan behind him to shine. The clan looked ready to cause mayhem and their power was immaculate. So cool. Mira thought to herself with stars in her eyes. Naruto was just being a total badass right now. She wished to have courage and bravery like him. What do you mean by that? Mei asked with narrowed eyes and a questioning gaze. What he is saying. Naruto stepped and hip-bumped Naruto out of the way. This boy was saying the right things in the wrong way, he got it from his father. We wish to help in the civil war, but as payment, we wish to find a home in the Mist Village. Mei closed her eyes and thought. We could use the help since we are outnumbered and on our own. But a group of this size would stretch our supplies thin. But the whole Uchiha clan would be worth it and more. But this could be a trap set by the Leaf Village to try and take over Mist. No, Hiruzen doesn't have it in him. Mei's mind was racing a mile a minute. This was not a simple matter and needed careful thought. The woman opened her eyes and looked at the generals in the room. She got a nod from Kenpachi. A silent nod from Haribel and a huff and reluctant nod from Esdeath. They seem to want this, but I should still test this clan to see. Mei then got up and walked to one of the filing cabinets and pulled out some papers. Mei selected a paper that had danger in red letters. She went back and sat down at the head of the table. Mei then slid the paper towards Naruto, who was on the other side of the table. Naruto grabbed the paper and gazed over it with her one good eye. A control point. Naruto said in surprise. Yes, this is a low-level control point that we plan to take over in 2 days. But this will serve as a kind of test of loyalty for you guys. Mei said with crossed arms under her bust. So you don't trust us? You think this is some elaborate scheme by the Leaf Village? Naruto questioned with her own narrowed eyes. Did this girl really think the Leaf would go through all this trouble just to try and take over this war-torn country? She calmed herself, Mei was just doing her job and being careful. It should be easy for someone of your stature, one-eyed empress. Mei said with a flirtatious smirk that had the male Uchiha blushing. Fine, in 2 days' time this camp called Thriller Grand will be ours. Naruto guaranteed with complete confidence. Naruto smiled at the proclamation of his mother. She was really awesome and the strongest person he knew. He hoped to be a great leader just like her one day. Great, and while you wait for the day to arrive. Mei motioned for Ao who had never left to come over. She whispered in his ear and handed him a slip. Ao will direct you to your sleeping barracks. They all began to follow Ao out of the office and upstairs, leaving the captains to talk about it. So you really don't trust them? Kenpachi asked with a serious voice. No I don't, this mission will not only allow us to see their loyalty, but if they die, their failure won't leave a lasting impact. Mei declared in a stern tone of voice. I see. I hope they succeed, we could really use their help. Tear expressed her opinion. HMPH, I hope that Naruto brat dies. Esdeath let out a cold scoff. Who did that brat think he was stepping to her? He was a weakling and weaklings die while the strong rule. Don't be like that, young Naruto-kun is strong and not just in power. You all saw the support and faith those Uchiha had in him. Loyalty like that is hard to come by nowadays. Mei said with a faint smile. Yes, I did see that. He may be a little dark, but his heart seems to be in the right place. The boy could also work on hiding his emotions better, it was clear he was scared when facing Icicle. Harable said and chuckled at the nickname she called Esdeath, who gained a tick mark. We shall see, but it's late and we could all use the rest, let's all get to bed. Mei dismissed everyone and for the night. Ao led the Uchihas to an enclosure surrounded by steel gates and had several barricades all over the place. Behind the gate were tents scattered all over the place. The tents are set on the neatly cut green grass and small water ponds. The trees had cut marks and weapons still in them, while the ground had cracks in some places and slash marks. This is one of our larger training fields. Sorry that we couldn't get you anything better, so just bear with us. Ao placed a slip of paper on the gate. It read closed. At least they wouldn't have to worry about anyone coming to the train while they were sleeping. We appreciate it nonetheless, thank you. Naori cuffed her fist and bowed to Ao. My pleasure. Ao did the same thing before he left in a water body flicker. Alright everyone. Pick out your tent and let's head to bed. Naori ordered all the Uchihas. They all walked inside the gates and began to choose their own tents. In only a matter of minutes half of the clan was out like a light. Naruto was in a tent with his mother and only in his white form-fitting shirt and black pants. He laid back in his sleeping bag and just looked at the ceiling of the tent. Naori entered the tent and let out a tired sigh. Nari-chan, how are you feeling? I'm feeling fine, we have finally reached our destination and simply need to prove we belong. How are your eyes? They feel perfect. Naruto said and looked at his mother. Can you help me train mom? Of course I can, sweetie, I'll make you the strongest ninja to come from the Uchiha. Naori gave him a heartfelt smile and began to undress. Mom? Don't do that in front of me. Naruto quickly turned with a red face from embarrassment. Oh please, I used to give you baths and change you. Naori waved off and kept changing her clothes. She was now in a form-fitting shirt like Naruto and short athletic shorts. I was a baby then, I don't want to see you changing. Whatever son, just get some rest. Naori got into her sleeping bag. Sleep tight and I love you. Love you too, good night. And that marks the end of the first part of the story. If you guys made it this far and want more contents like this, comment down below to let me know. Thanks for sticking out till the end. I would gladly appreciate every likes, comments and subscribes I could get on this series. It only takes a minute and best of all, you can show your support for absolutely no cost. See you in the next one.